Word.
Yo. I didn't even know I'm looking at the other screen and shit like that.
This guy.
It was good.
I love how professional we are here at the Dailyrapupcrew.
I mean, ain't nobody joined in yet, so ain't nobody see that unless when they go back and watch the replay that they gonna see.
Yeah, I see Puerto Rican princess in the shit right here.
Yo, it was good. It was good. Everybody that's joined in. Got Mike. I see Puerto Rican princess. I got the Turk.
Mm-hmm.
That shit look dirt. Like I'm saying, like yo. Now it ain't going for it's kind of valid, but like you know what I mean. I like the money green and then like you know what I mean.
Why he turned around like he could see it on the wall?
You feel me? It's the Dailyrapupcrew. I did it the right way. I did.
I mean, your hand disappeared, but I mean, yeah, it's all good.
I don't know how this shit.
The people want to know what's up with what happened to the mansion, man. What's up? You ain't pay the payments.
Yeah, I got foreclosed. I ain't gonna hold you.
Damn.
The Dailyrapupcrew checks not coming in like they used to. You know what I mean? We gotta get back on our shit, man.
You had the Airbnb for the day. That's what's up.
Word, you was fronting with the B&B. Stop playing.
You was at Floyd Mayweather cribs. I heard you was singing like Ray J.
Never. But we gotta throw some more events, man. I need some crib money, man. I need some crib money.
What up, Amber?
What up, Amber? In the green, I see you.
Mm-hmm. See everybody that's coming. Make sure you hit that like button on the way in, man. It take only half a second, man. We got a live panel for y'all tonight. Got some great topics we're gonna discuss. What's good, Eric? Yeah, make sure y'all copy the merch. Wait, I don't got no merch on, like, but dailyrapupcrew.co. Go copy the merch, man.
We got a Miss Submissive in the building. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She had. I was talking on IG and all that, like. So.
Oh, well. Okay.
Mm-hmm. But I gotta ask y'all how y'all day was. It's only right. Drew, how was your day?
You know, man, I did my due diligence as a father. You know what I'm saying? Took care of the kids, read a few books. Mm-hmm. That shit get annoying after the first kid. So I'm telling you, I don't have too much kids. And I mean, I did my cooking thing. I know I'm a chef. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you the air fryer king.
Boy, it wasn't you at my crib the other day. He was, you know what I'm saying?
You said your burrito was a 5 out of 10, though.
I did say it was a 5 out of 10. I got the video. Look, I got the video.
But look, my boy almost ate his whole hand with the burrito, though. You know what I'm saying? So, he lying.
Oh man, that's
you know what? I believe you, Drew, because Eli be lying, bro.
That's a fact.
Wow, that's crazy. That's not even in my nature, though. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Nah, when we went to the crib for I forgot whose birthday it was, and the chicken was slamming. You was like, "Oh, the chicken good," but when Drew asked, you like, "It's all right." I mean,
that sounds like some shit you just made up, boy. Like,
nah, it's don't lie, Eli. I can't even tell you keep it real because you don't never keep it real. But, you know.
Wow, I'm the realest one on the panel. Everybody know that, like,
nigga. If we had to vote, you would not win, bro.
I'm gonna put who they gonna say the realest?
I'm guessing they probably gonna say Drew, then me, then you.
Hey, get the fuck out of here. You know that.
You last, bro. You
stop
last,
it, bro. You stop it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yo, like, put a one in the chat if Eli last and being the realest.
So what's the other alternative?
They don't know the real Eli. They don't know.
Put a 2 in the chat if I'm the realest. That's what we gotta be. Like, you know what I'm saying? Somebody said, Eli, what's the word with your sister though? Like, that's crazy.
Yo, that's mad random though.
That is mad random. Like, yo, that's crazy.
Yo, who is that?
I don't even know. Like, you know what I'm saying,
he's the CEO. He's the CEO.
I gotta ask you. I gotta put y'all on the spot real quick. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It is Black History Month. You feel me? So I think it's only right that I ask y'all a few questions. You know what I mean? I gotta test y'all knowledge, man. Y'all ready for this?
Wait, so can we ask you questions as well?
I mean, no, that's not how this works. Like, you know what I'm saying?
What you mean? This is all our show. Word. Yeah,
y'all ain't got no questions. I'm gonna ask me about Black movies. That's it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly.
This is regular knowledge that y'all should know as Black people, man, in America, man.
All right.
Yeah, after you done Googled the motherfucking question.
I knew the answer.
Probably didn't know them either. Like.
Exactly.
Like, all right, so this one's simple. Yeah, I'm gonna ask Drew first because I don't want, you know what I mean? I'm gonna ask Drew first, and I'm gonna ask and see if Keem know. Yo, Drew, what does NAACP stand for?
First of all, y'all know I'm a comedian, so I don't want to disrespect and go viral for saying something wrong. So I definitely don't know what that means.
That's crazy.
I don't, bro.
We might be in the same boat. Is national.
That's crazy.
African American.
You already lost. You might as well start over again.
It ain't national.
No, that's the first one. Yeah.
Oh, all right. National African. It's not African. Fuck. Nah, I give up.
That's crazy.
What is it?
What is it?
It's the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, man. Y'all slacking out here, man. Like,
boy, fuck out of here. I'm not.
Fuck out of here. That's how you feel about Black History Month? Fuck out of here. That's
I just knew it was for Black people. I didn't know there was story front. They need to update that. It ain't colored people no more.
Yeah, colored people is all right, this one is the next one is easy, man. Who's the first African American Major League Baseball player? Jew, I'm gonna ask you first.
Oh, that's easy. All right.
What, Jackie Robinson?
No. Hey, okay.
Okay. Y'all starting off pretty good. Which Black artist has the most Grammy wins of all time?
Beyonce.
What do you think, Jew? I mean, Ace.
I'm gonna say Jay-Z.
Jay-Z, Beyonce.
Oh, it could be Kanye. Man.
Which I need your final answer. I need your final answer. And don't be looking at the chat. Y'all niggas, I see you over there squinting and looking at the chats.
I'm gonna go Kanye.
Kanye. So Jew.
Yo, but boy said we get 100 lashes though. That's hilarious.
Nah, Jew is right. It is Beyonce. She got 28.
Damn. Okay. Who number 2?
Number 2, I don't know who number 2 is, but her and Quincy Jones is actually tied. I don't know if you count Quincy Jones as an artist, but they did have him as an artist. You know,
that would probably be Michael Jackson. Then
Michael Jackson is actually not even top 10. He got like 15 Grammys. Like, so Jay-Z got more Grammys than Kanye got more Grammys. Let me see. All right, this one is simple. Black Lives Matter started to build traction after the death of this Black man. Jew, who is this Black man?
Damn, I can't think.
I can't think of his name either.
Oh damn! Black men don't matter to y'all.
The one that like look like Steven Jackson. Forgot his name.
Yeah.
George Floyd.
Yeah.
George Floyd. Come on, George Floyd is relatively recent. Black Lives Matter been around since 2013, man.
Oh, for real? Oh shit.
Yeah, I definitely get 1,000 lashes right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Where Umar at, man?
First of all, does Dr. Umar even support Black Lives Matter? I heard they didn't even support them.
I mean, that's another conversation that I don't think we got time for. There's some conspiracies with that organization.
So who did it start after?
Come on, Trayvon Martin, man. Come on, y'all got to know that, man. Like, slacking, man. You know, y'all slacking. I'm disappointed. I'm highly disappointed. But you did win this round. I'm not gonna lie.
I thought you was gonna ask like history questions.
I mean, that is history, man. Black Lives Matter is history, man. Beyonce is history, man. Don't ever disrespect.
But I meant like stuff that we learned in school, like.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna know. I could have asked y'all that, but I knew y'all wasn't gonna know. So
I actually know some school questions. I mean, some school answers and questions.
All right. So the next slide. All month I'm asking y'all questions. So I just want y'all to be, you know.
I got you.
I'm gonna have my questions next show.
Bro, y'all gonna say, yo, what actor was in Friday or some dumb shit? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
you don't know none of them shit. No black movies.
That ain't the history. Like, oh, but that's history.
That's a part of history.
That's history, but y'all niggas don't know about Beyonce. Like,
who don't know? Wait, who? First of all, we never say we ain't know about Beyonce. We just ain't know that she had the most Grammys. That's shout out to her.
I got that right.
Shout out to her, by the way.
Yeah, Judy.
Judy actually got that right. So
Judy get that right. All right. So,
shout out to her, by the way.
Anyway, I had to ask that out. Anyway, we got some special guests that we're gonna bring in. They're gonna get into these topics with us, man. I know they got some insight that they're gonna bring to the conversation. And
can we ask them a Black History question too? Just I just want to see what they had at. That's all.
We could do that. We could do that, man. Listen, man, we had more of a live panel. I do want to address this too, right? Because I got to keep it real with y'all. I know y'all in the chat. Y'all support us heavy. There's y'all can vouch for this. Our episodes that y'all see right now, there's a lot of women that are supposed to be on a lot of our episodes, but flopped last minute on some last excuses. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we done had a ton of women just like this is easy, but it's hard at the same time. Like, cause you never know, people will make excuses at the last minute. We even got live streams of motherfuckers making excuses at the last. Like, you at home, like you ain't got nothing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, motherfuckers got to walk their fish and shit. Like, I'm just like, wow. Like,
and it's funny that the people that was supposed to come to the show and the one that's supposed to come on live got the same excuse. Like, it's always somebody mama in the hospital. Like, yeah.
And I know that. Listen, they mama could be in the hospital. I'm not gonna lie to you. But I know when I was running late for work a couple of times, I understand my mama was in the hospital. And I love my mama. Shout out to my mama. Like, you know what I'm saying? But yeah. So
nah, I always made up somebody. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't want to put that in.
Yeah. Not my
yeah, but it just hit it, like it don't make my cousin like Tisha's and like nobody care about the cousin, but the mom.
They don't know how much siblings you got. Just like my brother Joe. Something like that. Like, it's never nobody.
Yeah, that don't even. Yeah, but the mama just sound more urgent. Like, I don't know. Like, they don't never question that. Joe, I ain't never heard you talk about no Joe. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, he just got out. You know what I mean?
He just got fresh out. Like,
fresh out.
All right, so I'm gonna introduce the guests and then we're gonna get straight into it. If y'all just joined and make sure y'all hit that like button. It's free, man. Like, take half a second to just to like it. You get what I'm saying? So. Yo, you guys?
Hi, how are you guys?
What's up? Let the people know your name and where they can follow you at.
Sure. My name is Yama. You guys can follow me on Instagram as Miss Yama. So with 2 E's at the end.
Okay. We definitely gonna put that in the description.
Thanks.
Yo, what's goody?
Hey, my name is Lee. You can follow me on TikTok at Dose of Lee.
Mm-hmm. And she definitely got some content over there on TikTok. I gotta go follow her on TikTok because she be having some content. I ain't gonna hold you.
Now y'all look like two beautiful, strong black women. You know what I mean? And
first of all, they don't want to be strong anymore. You gotta stop putting that title on them. Like,
like two beautiful black women. Sorry.
Yeah, we go.
Yeah, consider yourselves, you know what I mean, knowledgeable in Black history.
Well, we got
one more. We got one more guest before we get.
My fault.
Mm-hmm. You on mute.
You're muted. All right, well, we got 3 beautiful black women in the chat. You know what I mean, and I want to ask y'all.
All right, I'm ready.
You know what I mean, y'all ready?
I don't know why my camera decided to do that. Okay, I'm Yane. You can find me on Instagram at _Yan Artistry. So YAHNARTISTRY.
All right.
Okay. Go. Ace got some Black History Month trivia apparently for y'all. He doing his Googles on his Android. Shit about to blow up any second. So you know what I mean.
Wait, go ahead. Ask a question first, Eli. I know you already got them queued up. I'm trying to find.
I really didn't have the questions.
Oh, you ain't got no.
Only had those questions. Nigga. Like, I thought you was coming to the dome. Like,
I was trying to Google something, but these is hard. I ain't trying to ask.
Yeah, why you think I tried to go for the simple shit? I was like, y'all niggas definitely ain't going to do
this. Oh man, all right, we gonna do this at the end of the show. That's what we're gonna do. My research here first.
You got this research.
Crazy.
All right, so let me get into this this first topic, right? It's unfortunate because the other girl that I had, these were some of her topics, and she was supposed to go off and talk about these topics, but apparently, you know, she had to walk her goldfish and all that. So
why everybody that you be making topics for or whatever, they never show up, bro?
I don't know. Like, and these are the topics they want to talk about. So I'm like, they got some insight. Like, you know what I mean? They're gonna hold it down. Anyway, it says, are we normalizing a dangerous misconception? Like, basically, what impact does hookup culture have on society? What do y'all think?
It has people comfortable. I feel like it really has people not wanting to try a commitment. It's just like we don't take our bodies as our temples. We don't see the importance of sex. So we misvalue sex. Because sex is very important. You make babies. And I think it's very interesting because it's just like, I feel like once you give it up, it's like, I mean, it depends. I mean, like, depending on like how you value and what you value, because everyone has their own values. But like, if you're looking for marriage, if you're looking for more, and if you don't want to be with someone that you personally don't want to have a kid with, I feel like you end up in those situations because you're not thinking about who the person is. You're just letting temptation lead.
So, like, you know, right now, you know, we have this whole sexual liberation of women. Do you think that has contributed to the hookup culture?
No.
You don't think so? You don't think the sexual sleep with who you want to sleep with, this, that, and it's empowered. We're using our body, this, that, and you don't think that's contributing to the hookup culture?
I think it contributes a little bit. I think it also allows women to feel less shame about their sexual desires. Because I think a lot of women are taught, from a very early age to not be like men or not be as, sexually promiscuous because, we get labeled whatever we get labeled. That and those labels don't follow men down the road. They follow us way more. So I think it just more so allowed women to not feel ashamed and like be able to just do it more freely. Now, is it helpful? In some aspects, no, because we still get those stigmas. So it's like if you're going around and you're, sleeping with whoever and people start to know who you're sleeping with, of course, like that name is still going to follow you, sexual liberation or not. So it's not helpful, but I think in a sense that it definitely doesn't help like being in relationships. I think it more so helps women not feel ashamed about their sexual desires.
You know what's funny too though? Like it's a difference from, some women could be like silently promiscuous or whatever. You wouldn't know. Like men don't really know women body counts. You could say you have 3 or 4 partners, right? And just because I don't know your history, I would believe that. But now women are so vocal on, so what? How many? Don't worry about how many bodies I got, which we shouldn't be concerned about that. But it's so loud that you can. I don't know. It's kind of disturbing. I'm not gonna, for me personally, because if you're in a group, right, and then you find a female attractive, right, and you find out if a man most likely found out she had a lot of partners, will be uninterested. We probably still want to smash, but we'll be less interested to commit. Now, if a woman could tell her homegirls that a man was good in bed and he has a lot of partners, a lot of women would still be interested in that guy and still would want to give him a sample or try him.
Doesn't mean she want to come to him though.
You don't think so?
No.
Yeah, I was about to say I definitely disagree with that. If I know that somebody I'm dealing with has a lot of partners, I feel like as a guy, you are for the streets.
Where's your self-respect?
Like easy access. And it's attractive when a guy doesn't let just anybody in. Because then I do feel like special and I do feel like a prize. If I feel like any of my homegirls could get you because you just take down anything, then I don't think that having you is that special.
And I judge who you fuck. So because if you're touching her, what does that mean? Like, I think
as far as a man can have a lot of bodies and they be valid bodies though. Like
you can, but also like the guy that I dated with the highest amount of bodies, he was probably one of the most insecure dudes I've ever met. And like when we had a conversation about like how many bodies he had, like you could tell he was just doing it to fulfill a void. So like when a man has a lot of bodies, like a crazy amount, it tells me like you were just doing something to fill some space, and like I need you to come a little more healed than that.
I think what happens is, women value experience, like sexual experience in men, which is why you hear women, if he give you trash pipe, you won't really give him a second chance. So you know what I'm saying? Like women are very reluctant to give a guy a second chance when he's not delivering sexually. I know maybe you guys are the exception, but most women will clown a man and won't give him a second chance if he's not performing up to par. So that kind of puts that level of pressure on men that women don't have experience, because guys can sleep with a woman and it might not be the best. You know what I'm saying? But men are more willing to give that woman a second chance to, prove himself. Or even a man might say, hey, something I did wrong. Like, you get what I'm saying? He might take accountability and be like, hey, the experience wasn't as good because maybe I didn't do enough to arouse her or whatever the case is. A woman will meet a guy and he ain't giving that pipe. Number one, he going in the group chat. Girl, that nigga pipe was weak or whatever the case is. Y'all going to shame him. And y'all definitely not going to give him a second chance to redeem himself. Like, you get him. So guys are feeling like I have to go out and get as much sexual experience as possible because, women are always talking about the guy who's blowing a back out, the guy who's stigmatizing them because they're so good in bed or whatever the case is. Those are the men that you guys usually are attached to at the hip. And will do all types of craziness because he's delivering on a sexual end. So I think it is different, just like how you said about it being discussed, like, you know, you value a guy who, you know, who respects himself in that sense, right? The same way you feel that way is how guys feel about their woman that they want to take, you know, seriously long term. Nobody wants to know, and like Ju said, like nobody's really gonna know your body count unless you just upfront with it. Women can lie all the time, which is why women do lie. But yeah, I mean, yeah, men definitely do lie. But if you are like being honest about the body count situation, or if a guy knows, nowadays every guy, like if you sleep with guys will, you know, talk about it. Like, you get what I'm saying? So if you walking around with your girl, like niggas gonna be whispering like, damn, I just took her down the other day, or damn, she was giving it up to my man. Like that hurts a man in his relationship. He wants to feel like that woman is his. And if every guy had your box, it no longer becomes special anymore. You just got a regular box now.
Don't you think a woman feel like that too? You think I want to go down the street and hear that she fucking my man too? I mean, we also women. You have a choice. I feel like this is my mindset though. If I want to sleep with someone because I want it to happen, not because he wanted to happen, I want it to happen as well. So we also got to think about it from a woman's standpoint. If a woman wants to sleep with a man, that's what she want to do. Like they always say, I forget the analogy when they say like a woman fucks who she wants, men fuck who they can.
Yep.
So at the end of the day, me as a woman, if I want to go sit with you, that's what I want to do. If I don't, that's my decision. And at the end of the day, I feel like it all depends on your value and what we value. I feel like social media got into what we value, what we don't value. Because I'm gonna tell you this now, I don't want to go in the club and see that all the girls that fuck them in one room. That's uncomfortable too. I've been in a situation where that, like, it goes both ways with self-respect. If you want me to be this holy woman and you want nobody else to have me, I would hope the same for you as well. We gotta hold each other to the same.
Nah, we can't, because you see the same way you say that saying is women fuck who they want and men fuck who they can't. That means automatically women have more power when it comes to sex. If you fuck who you want, I got a lot of bodies. Hold on. If you fucking who you want and you got a lot of bodies, that means you want everybody. If I'm fucking who I can, I'm just fucking who I can.
And he has to work for that. A man has to work for that. Women don't gotta work for sex.
That's what I was gonna say.
The thing too.
I was gonna say that was what I'm gonna say. So I do think that the biggest reason why with guys is seen as an accomplishment when you guys sleep with a lot of women, because typically, men usually say yes to sex, right? It's typically a lot easier to get a guy to say yes to sex. I mean, to guys say yes to sex than to get a woman to say yes to sex. Mm-hmm. So as a woman, if I get 50 guys to say yes to something that they already say yes to, it's not an accomplishment for me. Before a guy, typically women will say no to you. So if you get multiple women to say yes to something that they typically say no to, that's the reason why, at least in my opinion, for you guys, it's an accomplishment, because it's not as easy. That's kind of like for a woman, if you get 5 guys to propose to you for marriage, guys usually shy away from commitment. So if you get 5 guys to do, that's accomplishment. But if a dude says he's been engaged 5 times, it looks a little...
Exactly.
It looks a little desperate, because it's a lot easier to find 5 women who want to get married. So I understand that point.
I was also going to say, like,
can't hold them to the same standard. Go ahead.
If you think about it, like, especially if you have a girl who's conventionally attractive, like people are saying now, right? Mm-hmm. She has so many men coming at her for sex that it's like, even if let's say she has I don't know what a high body count to y'all is, but let's say she has 10 bodies or whatever it is, she's probably turned down 50 other dudes. So it's like, you could say she has a high body count, but her rate of like saying no versus her rate of saying yes is way higher. So it's like, we can say women have high body counts, but it's like, how many men are actually trying to get in her pants? How many men did she say no to? And it's like, a lot of people say like, oh, like pretty girls are always the most insecure, this and the third. But it's like, how many men is she turning down?
You know, it could be a hit girl with the hittest face with a fatty. Men are going to chase her down too. She's going to reject 101 dudes as well. So I mean, it comes down to like women's standards mostly.
It is, but if you also think about like the ratio, I'm like, if I said yes to 5 dudes but said no to 95, I'm like, that's a 5% chance that you get to hit.
Yeah, but all we see on our end is the 5 bodies. We don't see the other 95 bodies. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't even know they exist. Like, you know what I'm saying?
But y'all always talking about, oh, she pretty. She got so many people in her DMs. But, you know, it's like we only responded to how many? It's the same concept. You can think about how many people are in our DMs, but you don't think about how many people have tried to get them.
I mean, I think that's the same concept as, you know, we had a conversation with women who always said they prefer their man to be medium ugly because, you know, they don't want to have that competition, you know what I mean, with the other women that they know are attracted to him. So they I like my man medium ugly, or he got to be ugly. You know what I mean? They don't like the quote unquote pretty boys or the boys or the attractive men like that because they feel like they're always in competition with that man because there's other women that desire him. Like, you get what I'm saying? I think guys, for the most part, feel the same way. So we do got I think Sapphire going to join us real quick when she fixes her mic. But I think just to stay on the topic, I think the problem with hookup culture is, you know, there's been a decrease of commitment and trust in relationships nowadays. You know, I think hookup culture prioritizes obviously casual sex over committed relationships. You know, when you look back in the days, the only time you really were rewarded sex is when you had a girlfriend and a boyfriend. Like, that's the only, like, you really wasn't just out there giving it up to anybody because you felt sexually liberated. I think the increase of STDs have obviously gone up with the whole hookup culture. Like, you know what I mean? Like, obviously the objectification of women, because now we only view women like as objects for sexual pleasure, to unfortunately the lack of intimacy, because a lot of these hookups is just like, they just fucking, like, you know what I mean? Nobody's doing foreplay like that no more. It's just like, I'm hard, you wet, we just gonna get it. Like, I don't want to be intimate with you because you're not my girlfriend. You get what I'm saying? I don't want you to get attached. So that becomes, you know, obviously an issue. So I think there is a lot of, I don't really know any, to me, I don't know the pros of it, of hookup culture, outside of, like, you know, just casual sex. There's a lot more benefits, I mean, disadvantages to hookup culture, to me personally.
In the long term, yeah. Yeah,
in the long term, yeah, everybody can have sex, cool, like, you know what I mean? But that also increases the single motherhood and you know, single fatherless homes and stuff like that. And then we're gonna obviously talk about that. But what's your thoughts on that, Keem?
Hookup culture, it definitely is impacting the relationships. You said relationships, right?
Yeah,
relationships.
Like, just society in general, but yeah, I mean, relationships is a product of it.
Society and relationships, yeah, I think is bringing down the value of relationships, because you don't like you said, you don't have to get in relationships to get sex anymore. And that was like one of the main reasons men wanted to lock women down. Like, all right, I got this for me, and that's it. You know what I mean? But if you're getting it everywhere, it's like, what am I getting in a relationship for? Why buy the cow if I'm getting milk for free? You know what I mean? And then when you do get into relationships, it's like you got so many options, or options for sex. It's like, it's hard to stay faithful, and then it's hard to be in relationships if your partner is messing up. So one little mistake is like magnified now because you got all these options. And I really don't see the positives of it, but if they sexually liberated and they feel good, I mean, okay.
I was going to say, I think the hookup culture definitely makes it a lot harder for guys too, not just for women, because guys just see women as these sexual objects now. But just like there was a point made earlier about, like, you know, if sex is trash, then a woman is just you'll never get a second chance. But if that woman had the level of intimacy to know you and care about you, then she would give you a second chance. She would try to learn more about you. And I think the thing is, the whole thing with may the best man win, it's kind of like with hookup culture, you guys have a lot of competition now. So women aren't settling for the things that they would settle for before, because they know there's a next man right around the corner. So it makes it harder for women when it comes to how you value us, but it also makes it harder for men and how you guys are valued, because if the sex is trash, I don't know you that well, I don't care about you that much, I can move on to the next person too. So I think both people kind of get thrown away.
That's a good point.
But yo, I was gonna say, when I was younger, my OGs used to tell me, yo, get your practice in, so when you do get the right girl, you already know what you're doing. Like, that's what they told me when I was younger. So I was getting my practice in. So by the time I got somebody that I wanted to, you know what I mean?
That's still wrong, though.
But quantity of sex doesn't mean
I'm making sure I'm blowing her back up, huh? What'd you say, Lee?
I was saying quantity of sex doesn't equal quality of sex. Like, I think you can have better sex with one person over a long period of time than you can with a whole bunch of people, because you don't know like that person's body. You don't know what they like. You just getting in and trying to like make sure your stroke game is consistent rather than like good, or it's long versus like actually pleasurable.
I agree with you 1,000%, but the only difference is a man gained confidence and feeling like he succeeded in pleasuring multiple women. So when I get to you, whether I made you climax or whatever the case may be, at that point, my confidence is so high, I'm going to be trying my best to get you there rather than me approaching you nervous, like, damn, I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, shit, it's done. You know what I'm saying? So
I got more tools in the bag. Like if I try this, it ain't work. All right, let me rip out this one I learned over here. You know what I mean? I got more tools to I'm gonna get to where I'm trying to go if I got different tools to try. You know what I mean? Whether if I got this one tool that I learned from this one person. You know what I mean?
I would say that hookup culture makes it way harder for the men than it does for the women, because women grant the access to sex. So if a woman could be happy with a man, but he could be doing something wrong, but it's so many other guys just, chatting at her. I might be fucking up this month, and she might listen to this dude, but it's so easy to just, dibble and dab nowadays. And with hookup culture, if we're not committed and I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, where, back before hookup culture was really a big thing, we took time like, okay, let me fix this, or I'm mad at you, but I'm not going to be dipping and dodging on somebody else. Now it's just so easy. Like, well, fuck you. You fucked up. And what you doing today? Okay, well, I'm out with this person. And it's just going back and forth and kind of like wasting each other's time for real.
I mean, millennials are the microwave population. Like we're the last population that use the oven, right? Everything is real quick in a hurry. So I think that mentality has been applied to everything.
So are we gonna be scared? Like, is it gonna get worse? Like,
it's definitely.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's gonna get worse.
It's gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse.
Because I want to know what worse looks like. Because this is nasty to me. Like, I don't know.
I think
worse is being able to meet somebody by turning on your phone.
Shit, they doing that now.
And not even have personal interaction. You don't even have to go outside anymore to meet somebody. You can swipe right and meet somebody else in 2 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think too, like when I think about relationships, I think about what you learned at home. And like for me, I come from an African background. So both parents are West African. I had to realize I had to learn to unlove what I learned in the house. And I realized there's certain ways to communicate and be in a relationship. I don't know what a relationship looked like because I've never seen a good relationship. So it's like you're kind of teaching yourself. You're trying to learn from, okay, well, I know what I learned at home was toxic. It was very abusive. And then you turn on social media. You're expecting roses every day, $100. Like there's so many expectations of what's a perfect relationship that you lose the illusion of what's good for you. So I feel like it also depends on like your culture and background. It plays a part into like a lot of it as well.
Is hookup culture a thing like in Africa like that? I'm not.
I mean, I wouldn't say I can't really speak on the whole diaspora of Africa, but I will speak on in the house. My mom has always told me like, once you fuck him, you lose your value to him. Like that's one thing my mom has always told me growing up. She's like, you fuck him, like that's it. Like there's nothing coming back from it. So like she always says, be careful. Like if you want to take someone serious, like take sex out of the picture and try to get to know the person. But once you fuck them, your value, that's what she told me. Your value goes down. So it's very interesting because it's like you have people that says, no, have sex, live your life, have your freedom, but yet you're taught like, okay, if I have sex already, I lost my value. Like what's gonna happen? So I don't know. It's like it's interesting.
I think it's the opposite, man. That's when you find out like who there for you. Like once the sex go and the person is still around, that means they wasn't just.
Don't let them help.
Yeah. Ace has said on record that he don't know if he could take you seriously if he don't have sex with you first. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I don't know, man, because after the sex, I get that post-nut clarity, and then I know. All right.
Don't listen to him, because if I feel the exact opposite. I agree with your mother 100%. If I feel like.
Well, he's a fuckboy, so we're gonna listen to it.
Yeah, and with that,
he's an ex fuckboy, like
ex fuckboy, and I feel like with that if I felt like it was so easy to get that, I don't think I'm special. I don't think you had any standards. A lot of that stuff goes in my mind. You get what I'm saying?
That was his fuckboy thought process.
But I feel like it comes with age. Like, it depends on what you value at each age. Like, for me, I just turned 25, and I feel like, not saying like I've had sex on the first date, like it happened, but I'm saying to myself, like, moving forward, I don't kind of want to go that route. I want to get to know you, because I don't want to be wrapped up in a situation where I'm having sex with this person consistently and I'm pregnant, and now I'm like, fuck, like, do I keep this baby? Do I not? Do I keep this baby? Do I not? Like, what's about to happen? Like, are we gonna make this relationship happen? Like when you're in a predicament like that, that's when life is hitting you. Like, damn, like, why didn't I evaluate this person before I started doing all these grown activities? I mean, at the end of the day, you're gonna pay the repercussions for whatever you do. But I feel like the stakes get higher as your age refers. Like, when you're younger, I say, if you're gonna have sex, be careful. Like, use condoms. Like, really, use condoms. Go get tested. Do your thing. Learn. But as you get older, you have the responsibility of a child. And now we're bringing kids in this world. And I taught for 2 years. You can see the effect in the classroom. Like, it's crazy. You think it doesn't play an effect, but it really does. So I feel like we got to think, like, if we're going to be having sex, just having it, at least let's do some precautions to not get pregnant. And if we are we going to own up to our responsibility? Because at the end of the day, the baby lands with the woman. Like, as much as we want to say, the baby lands with the woman. And men have the choice to either we want to stay or leave.
Well, let me, because we're going to get into that topic, but I don't know, we got Sapphire in here. I do want her to, introduce herself and, shout out her social medias for everybody that that's watching. So, Sapphire, you can let them know your name and where they can follow you at.
I'm Sapphire Achilles. Nice to meet you guys. You can follow me at Sapphire Achilles. It's SAPPHIRE ACHILLEES on Instagram. And recently I blew up for a viral video, I guess, that's been going on, just speaking my mind about a lot of modern women and relationships today, how it affects basically society in a whole. And I believe my background, as I'm so young, is enabling me to help women realize that the way to go is, I just don't want to encourage, as a woman, other women to do wrong things. And I think that's just a main problem in a lot of today's society. So yeah.
So we on the topic of hookup culture. Like, what do you think the impact it has on society? The impact it has on society. What do you think?
So I'll definitely say that the hookup culture is very unbeneficial to a lot of women, even though they'll say, like, oh, okay, this is like a big topic, but like, oh, like body count doesn't matter and stuff like that. When in reality, it really does. So I think a lot of women today, they don't care to teach the younger generation that there's consequences to your actions. And the consequences to your actions result to the dating pool getting smaller as you build up all this, brokenness and trauma and baggage and stuff into your next relationships, which at the end, good guys that you actually want, they don't want you anymore, because now you're getting older and you lack a lot of the expectations a man has as a wife. So, I think the hookup culture, I think we think that it benefits us when it's like, oh, we want to be like guys and we want to do the things that guys do, when it comes to sleeping around. But it hurts you at the end as a woman. It does, whether you like it or not.
I do want to ask this question because I hear women always say, well, we want to be like men, or, men can do this or whatever. So on one of the podcasts that we had previously, we talked about, female privilege. And I asked the women, I usually ask women, what privileges do men have in society that women do not have? And when they think about it, the only thing they ever say is, well, men can sleep around with whoever they want.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh, that's fair, but is there anything else? And they're just like, yeah, but they can sling their dick around and not get called hoes. And it's like, oh, damn, is that the only benefit that men have in society today over women? And I want to ask the women on the panel, is there any, do you think there's any privileges that men have in society that women just don't have?
I think men have the privilege of
Yes.
feeling more safe in general, like just on a day-to-day than women do.
Yeah.
Black men, obviously, you have a little more, fear. But I feel like as women, we just have more fear in our hearts every day. Like you walk outside the door and you have to check over your shoulder a little more. Like I'm a small girl. I'm literally 122 pounds. So somebody could snatch me, somebody could come behind me. I have to like really think about my whereabouts, how I carry myself. I can't just be an airhead if I'm walking around by myself in a busy city.
Routine sometimes.
So it's just, I think that men don't have to worry about their physical like well-being the way a woman does in that aspect every day.
Every dude I know got an op up the block.
Yeah, like I don't know about that one.
Not literally.
No, I can say that's fair. Like I do understand where you're coming from, and that is a worry for some women, obviously. Any other privileges?
Well, I'll say
I was definitely
even
going to
with
say,
that,
I think.
like,
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying that even with that, you could also say as well, and I understand from a certain standpoint where she's coming from, but I also say like when you're walking as a woman, like say down the street, and then people try to rob you, you're more likely to get helped as a woman than a man. A man will just get beat up and she won't get, but as a woman, especially as a pretty woman like yourself, I know there are men that will probably try to help you out of that situation rather than an actual man. So I get what you're saying, like in certain, safety standpoints.
And get beat up. There's a story about a guy who helped a black guy who helped a woman and her boyfriend that had a domestic, they was fighting in the streets. And he ended up getting beat up, and the woman still went with the boyfriend. Like, he in the hospital, like broken face, and she still went with the boyfriend at the end of the day. So he stepped in to help her, and they end up jumping him. Like, so it's like, that is a thing. I'm not saying it happens all the time or whatever the case is, but that is something, when you don't mind your business, sometimes it can backfire on you, unfortunately. Like,
which is another fear.
So what was you gonna say, Artistry?
I was going to say, like, I think another privilege that you guys have is just the encouraged leadership, the privilege of leadership, where you guys could be the CEOs, the boss guy, the whatever, and be seen as a positive status. But when women come in and be strong and CEOs and bosses, it's seen negative thing where we're supposed to be nurturers and soft. And if you talk a certain way, you're a bitch. And like, all these different things where you guys are allowed to be strong leaders and live in that, where women were sometimes ridiculed for having too strong of personalities, or we're seen as acting like a man. So if a woman is too strong, she's acting like a man. But if a man is too strong, it's encouraged. So I think you guys are encouraged to be leaders, or women we're encouraged to be the backseat.
Well, I could also say with that, I could say that I understand what you're saying, but I don't think that a lot of men that view power as a woman, like, it's not the same as masculinity. I think a woman can be a leader and still be feminine, but when she starts developing like masculine traits, when it comes to being the man, now the man doesn't feel like the man anymore in a relationship. So now it becomes who's really like, who's the captain of the ship, essentially. There can't be two captains of a ship. That's just not how it works. So essentially in a relationship, who's actually leading. And when a woman usually has higher power, they're always saying, I don't need you, broke ass nigga, da 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 da, you don't make more than me. And that's why a lot of women, try to marry up.
I think she's also talking about like in a business workspace versus a man.
Right. I'm just saying in life in general. Mm-hmm.
Right.
I think that's just historically, because I understand where you are coming from, and I think that's just a product of just historical. Like, men have always been the leaders, and this, even when we talk to women, they tell us that they want men to be the leaders. Like, you get what I'm saying? So I understand. I wouldn't say there's necessarily an encouragement. It's just that historically, that's what men have always been done. And I do see more of a movement now to put women in these leadership positions, especially in our community. I mean, we are the only community that live in a matriarchy, like, you know what I'm saying, where the women are the leaders. Like, unfortunately, not even unfortunately, but it is unfortunate, because, you know, men should be in those leadership positions, because, you know, obviously women want to rest in their femininity. This is what they always say. So I get what you're saying, and those are valid points. There is a certain expectation for men to be leaders over women, but I do see a lot more women stepping into those leadership positions as well.
But I also think when you think of leaders, I think of two different leaders. I think of when you're a leader at work, that's different. That's your workforce, that's your career. But when I'm at home, I want my man to be the leader. Because if you want a woman to submit, I need to be able to be led. Like, I don't know. Like, one thing I would say is, like, my mom she is top boss. Like, but my father can lead the house. If he, like, a man of his word, like, is one thing I always say. Like, they ask me all the time, what do you like in a man? A man of his word. What do you like in a man? A man of his word. I like a man that say he gonna do something, he do it. That's it. And that means I can trust him, that he got me, he got the family, and I don't even gotta look his way. If he said, babe, I already paid the bills, this is done, I know he's ready to lead. So I feel like when there's two different type of leaders, and you need both, because if you want to have the wealth, you want to enjoy your marriage, you want to enjoy being that couple, both y'all got to be a boss. But in the house, I would hope my man has some balls and he's leading the house. He's able to do what he got to do. And I'm able to pull my same weight, because it goes both ways. So that's in my opinion. Like, when we talk about leaders, because you got a leader at work, but like when you come home, like, your girl's a boss all day at work, running her own business. You think she want to come boss you? I want to be able to be like, babe, like, today was the day, and he could lead. Like, he could really.
So when we say, you know, we have that term, it costs to be the boss, right? You saying that, yeah, both are bosses, but you're saying your father still paid all the bills, right? So what is the cost of being a boss for a woman in a relationship if you still expect a man that's also a boss to pay all of the bills? Like, what is the purpose of you being a boss then?
My thing about a purpose of being a boss is being able to do for yourself. At the end of the day, you have to be 10 toes down regardless. You never know what's going to happen. And I feel as though being a boss means you have your own money. You know, you understand financial literacy. You got an education. You're doing it for you. Now you have a man that has the same equal as doing it for you as well. Now y'all both are equal. Y'all
that don't make sense.
Okay, so let me bring it to myself.
No, I'm gonna tell you what you just said, and maybe you meant it wrong. You said when a woman is a boss, she could do for herself, but when a man is a boss, he could do for her. That's not.
Okay, so then let me rephrase myself.
Okay, all right.
So what I'm trying to say is, if I can do for myself and he can do for himself, now we come together as a couple. Right? If I have to pick up the slack because maybe he lost his job, I'm able to do so, right? And if he wants to be the boss of the house, and I'm okay with that. Being able to have both partners who are financially stable in the household, both partners who are able to do things together. Because imagine now you have a woman that is, I don't know, like, she doesn't have the gear to have her own money. Shit went left. He broke his leg. Now he can't go get the money. Now where the funds are coming from?
Does he lose his leadership role because of that?
He doesn't lose his leadership role. I mean, we still gonna help our man, but now where are we getting the funds from when she doesn't have a niche? She doesn't know how to go do what she gotta do. You gotta think about it. Like, I mean, in an ideal world, like, we talk about, I mean, don't get me wrong. We talk about, you know, a man's supposed to provide and this, that, and the third, 50-50, whatever the case may be. But like, in our reality, like, if we think about those situations of, oh, like, he's providing or this, that, and the third, and she has nothing to offer. Like, when things hit the fan, like COVID's a prime example. Like, when things happen, what are we about to do? Like, we have kids, we have this, and now he's the breadwinner and she don't got nothing going on. Like, what's going on? Or he's like, we gotta figure it. Like, I don't know if I'm making sense to y'all, but like,
and that's why men would prefer the woman to have their own, because in the event that something happens and I can't hold down the house, my woman, that's my partner, she should be able to do it. But that's not what we get from our women. When we can't hold it down, they're leaving. Most women filing for divorces. You know what I mean? So men are looking at it like, what's the point of having a boss or anything if you're gonna leave with how money if I go down? You know what I mean?
I think
I wouldn't want a woman that had her own. Like, that whole part of you having your own, because what I'm working for, I'm investing to us. I never had my own or had the opportunity to have my own because I'm so invested into our family. I would have to pay the bills. I would have to, pay for what the kids have to do. Not saying that you wouldn't have to, but I want to have access to your funds like you have access to my funds. I can't say that I'm comfortable, and like it's not saying that I'm gonna be relying on your money, but I want to know that I have access to your money if I feel like, hey, I want to save up to do this and I want to do that. Just as well as you ain't got nothing to worry about when it comes financially. I want to know if I want to grab this, I can just grab it because you're taking my money as well.
So are people still doing joint accounts? Because I feel like that's how, both parties have access to each other's money. If you have a joint account, I'm not saying all of your money has to be in a joint account, but there should be, like, if you're married, there should be a joint account. That account goes for the household bills, everything that you both or all benefit from. That should be with the joint account.
Do y'all believe in prenups then? Then, like, what do you think?
I agree with a prenup 100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was going to ask, are you asking for access to my money as my boyfriend or as my husband?
Because as a boyfriend.
Because that's a little bit different.
I'm currently.
I shouldn't have access to your account either as a girlfriend. Like,
look, I'm currently not married, right? But I'm so committed in my relationship. She knows what's in my bank account. She knows my password, so she can go take my card right now and spend whatever she wanted, right? But she also knows she has to communicate with me. You get what I'm saying? And I know what's in her bank account, and I know I have access to it as well. We also have a joint account where we put $60 in it every 2 weeks. But we have our separate bank accounts where we have majority of our own money, but we also have access to it. So we have a format where we follow, but you can say like the boyfriend or husband thing. It depends on how committed you are. And how
I've been together for years and years and years.
Yeah,
it depends on the, I guess, how strong our relationship is, how confident y'all are in each other and stuff like that.
I think that goes into marriage territories for me, because I almost feel like that's why. So what do they say? Why buy the cow if you can get the milk for free? Like, I think that's a marriage thing for me personally, linking accounts and knowing bank information. Like, it's cool for you to be able to, like, spend a little money here and there. But I think for me, it's more so like, if we're boyfriend and girlfriend, I'd give you like a little budget and you'd be like, hey, don't go over this. But I don't think that I would give somebody access to my accounts before marriage.
Well, I'm gonna say boyfriend or husband. If you as a woman expect access to his money, regardless if you're a boyfriend or a wife, then I think he should have the same access to your finances.
I don't expect access for marriage.
I was about to say, I don't expect access.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm just saying in general, if women are expecting men, and even in the boyfriend stage, you're supposed to pay this and that and this, that, and the third, whatever the case is.
Because if you live together, that's access to his money.
Live together as a boyfriend or live together like
as a boyfriend. If he's responsible and he's paying all the bills, that's not access to his money.
I mean, if your boyfriend
you're benefiting, I don't know if that's access.
If you guys have an apartment together and he's paying for everything, that's not access to his money.
That's benefiting. Because I've seen a married couple where literally only the man has the credit cards. She has to wait for him to pay for everything. She doesn't have access because she doesn't have any cards. So that's not. I think that's benefiting, but I don't think that's access.
Yeah, point.
Yeah, I just to go back to the previous statement about
Wait, before we get into that, let me get to the super chat.
Okay. Yo, you always wait till the minute I start talking, like the nigga say,
because you're gonna take a while, so I gotta get to it. Achilles said, why is it that women will say they dislike a man that is promiscuous but will date and marry those men? Stop lying. I just had to say this because of the other discussion I had.
Okay, I can say I would prefer a man who does not have a high body count, but honestly, is it realistic to just think that all men are going to be super chaste? No. So it's I'm not going to hold it against him if it comes down to him being somebody I am really in love with. But I would prefer, my preference is a man that hasn't taken every girl down that I could possibly run into.
Let's get to the next one. Joseph said,
I want to say,
somebody want to say something?
No, go ahead. We can go to next.
Oh, hookup culture is not good for anybody. What I don't get is why do women want to do only the toxic thing that men do, sleeping around with everybody and say it's liberation. Okay. I didn't feel about that.
I think the liberation part comes from not feeling like I'm going to be shamed or not feeling the shame. That's where the liberation comes from.
Do women really have desires to really sleep with a lot of men? Is that really a desire y'all have?
She just wants to know if it's good. Like, depends on the woman.
I think they want to have the excuse to, like, I think the person that made that up was one that got caught up just with a whole bunch of niggas. You get what I'm saying? Like, the person that made that shit cool was a shorty that was like, well, I don't care. I'm sexually liberated. Like, and then it just started domino effect. Like,
I think if it wasn't for all these restrictions on women, they'd be just as out here as men are. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I'm telling you,
they would be worse actually.
Probably
worse.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
Amber Rose be voicing herself like, you know, women should. Why you wearing if she a stripper? Why you da 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 da? I'm like,
they said we need to get back to shaming these people of Jesus.
Charles Miles said most 304s don't provide any value after you sleep.
304.
304 is like a whole.
I mean, maybe choose better when you know who you're sleeping with.
4 days after me. What is it?
Michael says, Shorty asked me for Uber Eats 4 days after me and her. Is that wrong? PSA, yeah, McKen.
She asked for Uber Eats after y'all.
And y'all ain't never go out on a date, nothing?
I don't know who that is.
I don't know about that one, bro.
Did he send it?
Yeah. Let us know. Yeah, let us know you sent that.
Did they have sex? And she asked him for Uber Eats after that?
Yeah, we need more information, man. We need more information. We got to know if you had sex with her. And
if you say you're gonna feed her, it's cool. You don't want to feed somebody. You want to lay with them.
Right, my thing is, if I was going to dick, right? He wasn't talking about feeding her food. Like, you know what I'm saying, like.
Yeah, we need one. I don't know that. That's just very.
If he was going to take her out and she like, oh, you could just Uber Eats me. Well, can you just come over and give me the pussy then? Since we're not going out, like, you know what I mean? Like, what?
Yeah, it's like super chats.
Yeah, that's the last one.
And I forgot my point, man. We're gonna move on to the next topic. I was trying to think about it as long as possible. Then I got into the super chat. Listen, man. We already here, man. How can we avoid falling in the trap of normalizing baby mama culture? What's your thoughts on that, Sapphire? I want to start with you on this one.
Mm-hmm. Wait, can you repeat the question one more time?
How can we avoid falling in the trap of normalizing baby mama culture?
I think the best thing is just, as women, to keep our legs closed, because a lot of modern women now, and I'm not talking about all women, but a lot of modern women now today, as they've normalized the hookup culture, it does result into the baby mama culture, because we don't, they say women like bad boys, right? And that is the case for most of the time. I can say most of the time. And so when it's always the high value man, or if it's always the guy who makes them feel, and not logically but emotionally good, it's like we tend to ignore the fact that, well, essentially a lot of us are either not acting like wives, or we're just ignoring the red flags that we see in men in the beginning. So then once we get caught up in our emotions and stuff, then that it puts us in a bad situation. So I think that the only power we have, and that we're taught to have, within closing our legs, I think we should start putting into practice more, and start saying, it's gonna affect you later.
Yo, Sapphire, you gotta they saying you gotta fix your mic. Your mic sound like it keep making a staticky noise, but let me go to what do y'all think about baby mama culture? Do you think that exists? How do y'all think we can combat baby mama culture?
It definitely exists. I think honestly, we as women need to stop thinking that we can do it all ourselves. Like, we see a lot of Black women do it themselves, and like some of them actually do a great job. But I think we have to stop thinking like we can do it without fathers in the home, or that should be normal. Like it shouldn't be normal that a single mom is the majority. I think for me, it's like I was lucky enough to be raised by both parents, and I just don't even see how people could do it by themselves. But I think to not normalize it, I think you have to just see yourself being in a relationship with someone long term. And I feel like a lot of people don't even do that. I think like a lot of I'm gonna say I think a lot of men don't take responsibility in making single mothers, and I think it gets normalized in the culture that way as well. So I think if more men took responsibility in their actions in making single mothers, it might actually decrease a little bit too.
I don't think men can make single mothers. Like,
yeah,
I think
You don't.
women are the deciding factors on whether a child gets born or not. Now, I understand you're saying, men obviously not using protection, but we get to the same thing for women. And ultimately, when a baby is born into this world, it's because the woman made that decision after she had the conversation with the man who said, you know what, I'm not ready for this child right now. Yeah, I still said, you know what, fuck it. I'm going to go and have this child. So
I don't agree with that.
So I have a question.
I don't agree with that.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
I saw one of you guys' other streams, and you guys said that it takes sperm to make a baby, right? So we cannot have a baby without you guys.
Yo, I say this all the time.
So if you can choose not to ejaculate in a woman.
We have like
over
but
30
other
forms.
Okay.
Wait. Let her get her question out.
But can men choose not to ejaculate in a woman that they do not want to have a child with?
Well, I'll also say like we both have the option to do it raw, so we both know the risk, right? And women have like over 50 methods of preventing a child, and men only have one, which is a condom. And a lot of the time, if it's a man that the woman really wants, she'll steal the condom in some cases. Like, you get the Drake story and stuff where he put chili in the condom.
Drake. He is
I know, yeah, but I'm saying everybody wants a high value man, right? So they always want to get impregnated by men of high value. And that's why men, the only method that we have is like pulling out or a condom. And women have over 50 ways of birth control.
I'm gonna say that I feel like as a grown man, you know exactly what you're doing, and sometimes these dudes be going in and they be trying to trap you as well. I feel like we gonna talk about the woman. No, we're gonna talk about the woman. We need to respect ourselves and this kind of third. But men, like there are men that will really say, "I'm gonna get you pregnant," and they mean, "I'm gonna get you pregnant." And now let's talk about the options as a woman. I mean, you can know holistically what to do. You could take lean, you could drink. Like, there's different methods to stop pregnancy, but it's like, I don't know. Like, we gotta really take both people to account. Like, y'all are both laying in bed, y'all are fucking. I know the end result of us having unprotected sex. Agreed. Now the result has happened. She's pregnant. Now what do we want to do?
And we can't just be pro-choice if the choice is to abort. Like, y'all got to be pro-choice if her choice is to keep it too. Because if you decided to ejaculate in a woman, then you knew there's a possibility of having a child. You can choose not to ejaculate in a woman.
Yeah, and you can't hold your condom. Put the condom on. Like,
yeah, but if a woman knows she doesn't want to get pregnant,
you can take Plan B.
Contraceptive, like, you know what I'm saying?
Would you know there's weight limits to Plan B? Did you know that?
And just like how you said,
if you're having sex with somebody over like what is it, 180 or 160? It says
after 160, there's no chances of it actually like
What's that? 180?
It's 160. Yeah.
Just like that
there's a lower chance of it working if a woman
doesn't want to have a child. If a woman doesn't want to have a child, she should use all these 50 things. But if you 9 out of 10, I guarantee you, more men don't want to have babies with these women than women not want to have babies with the dudes. So at that point, men got to be more fucking aware. Yeah, you got to be more responsible and wear a condom. You got more to lose.
Or pull out.
Well, what does he have to lose? What does he have to lose when women are saying that they're not active? But these men are not active. The women have the most to lose, and they historically have always had the most to lose. So why are historically?
But you're putting yourself at a risk that you're not ready for. Yeah. Why not put on a condom? If you don't know what she has a choice, you don't have a choice. You have to accept whatever she decides.
And if she decides to keep the baby, then she decides to keep the baby.
So
You have no choice. The only choice you have is to wear a condom.
But why come in a girl if you don't? Why come inside of a woman you know you don't want to have a baby with?
You can get pregnant for pre-cum.
That's true.
So you could not come in her and still get.
Why have sex with a woman raw if you don't want to have a baby with her?
So why are women allowing?
Every time.
But you gotta also think about this too. There's dudes they start off with a condom and they take the condom off during.
Every time I have sex raw, it's because the woman allowed me to. If a woman don't want to have sex raw, she's not.
Yes, but you have to also make the executive decision. If I do not want to have a child with this woman, what is the smartest decision?
Yeah, because she.
And if you don't want to be a baby mother, what is the smartest decision? To take the 30 forms of contraceptive I have to protect my womb.
I don't have to do that until you ejaculate in me.
All I'm gonna say is it's not a single daddy epidemic. It's a single mom epidemic. That's all.
Because y'all leave.
Exactly, and that's where I think the problem is, because I feel like when you talk about being a baby mom or a single mother, women get all the responsibility for it, and it's not fair. Like I heard somebody say that it's like a decision. Like once a woman get pregnant, she can decide. What if that's only if you are pro-choice? Like if you're not pro-choice, that is not your decision. Like so I'm not, for myself, I don't believe in abortion for me. So if I got pregnant, I don't have a choice. I have to have a baby now. So there's a lot of women who don't believe in having abortions, and if they get pregnant, they don't have a choice.
But your choice, if you
according
know
to them. With the guy, just like y'all don't have choices sometimes. If a woman get pregnant, whether she decide to keep it or not, that's up to her. But as a spiritual woman, the guy is going to carry the baby all the way to full term.
If you know that is your decision that you not have an abortion if you get pregnant, then your choice starts at whether you wear a condom or not. That's where your choice is at.
But that's where it makes it men equally.
No, it's not equal, because a woman can say you got to put a condom on. You got to put that condom on. I can't say no. I'm not fucking.
No, me as myself as a man can say put a condom on. I don't want to get her pregnant, bro. What
you're talking about one form. You're talking about one form of condom. We're saying that before.
I don't care. It's got access to it. Is it rare? When
the decision is one-sided, then of course. Sex is an equivalent exchange. Childbirth is not. So if childbirth is not an equivalent exchange, then you have more responsibility.
With you not having the privilege to make a decision, you should be more careful, more cautious, and get that motherfucking condom. I will never surrender on it.
Because at the end of the day, so I have a question. The last person you have sex with, are you okay being the child's father? Could you be like, yes, she wants to have a baby. Would you want to have a baby?
That's the problem with hookup culture, though. Because we shouldn't be having sex with people that we don't find or we're not planning on being in a marriage with.
Right.
So that's exactly what's wrong with it, because we want to hold around and do what the fuck we want, when in reality that's not what we should do.
So is preventative care better or is aftercare better? Because like once there's injury, it's always worse to take care of it after. But if we do preventative care, you don't have to take care of any problems.
I think
so. The condom,
after an abortion, you don't know what's gonna happen after that. Like, what if she can't have a baby?
Y'all got all of the. You're not understanding when we say women have over 30 forms of contraceptive, and y'all keep ignoring that part and keep saying.
Do you know what it does to a woman's body?
He came in me. You know what a baby does? You would die giving birth. Like, you know what I'm saying? You would rather do that than take a patch or.
I'm 25 and have never been pregnant. Of course, I am definitely a product.
You sound like a responsible sexual woman.
I take the contraceptives, but at the same time too, it's like, damn. If you wouldn't have came in me, I wouldn't have had to take this contraception. I didn't tell you to come inside me.
But women always say
you did it. Maybe the women you have sex with, because I'm not foolish enough. I know I don't want children. I'm not going to tell you that.
But women always say, what it does to my body. But like Eli said, what does a baby do to your body?
A baby do? I mean,
baby does more than it does to your dating life.
But your body is made to have babies. Your body is made to give birth. Your body's not made to have
random one night stand.
Your body is made to have a baby of the one you're married to. Like he said, man, it's not just to have a baby
Yeah,
with somebody.
everybody's not made for the patch or for the pill.
Excuses. Listen,
Let me
I
get to the super chat because it's on topic, man. He said it's cowardly for a man to say it's a woman's fault. Men not being there creates single moms. End of story. No excuses.
Agree.
Agreed.
I don't think like I said, there's accountability on the men's part, but not every child has to be born, and not every child just like the sex is not the childbirth is not equivalent, and that's where the issue lies.
Okay, so we're not gonna hold men accountable that's fucking women unprotected, and they know the risk of having a child, but still fucking unprotected.
And we're not going to hold the women,
don't want a child without women.
And we're not going to hold the women who have a clear history of single child, and they can see what single child does to the family structure. We're not going to hold those. You've seen it. Your mother was probably a single mother. Your you've seen the history of single motherhood, and you choose to still purposely let a man come inside.
With that being said, I'm going to be more cautious. I'm going to know what I'm doing. I'm going to be selective on who I fuck raw.
And what happened? Okay, and what happened when that women are saying these men are leaving? What happened when that man leave the country and you were single because you wanted to let him come inside you?
I'm not saying women are not being left with the child. I'm not saying that part. I'm saying me as a man, to protect myself, I'm not gonna fuck a woman unprotected because I know I'm gonna lose a part of my life that I'm not willing to give up. Let's say I wanted to be that nigga that just want to up and leave. But I know the type of man I am. I'm gonna have to be there for that kid. You get what I'm saying? So a lot of men, why would I jeopardize my life and have sex unprotected with a woman that I know she might just want to trap me? But niggas like, yo, that pussy good. She said, let me hit raw. No, anybody that simp shit on the chat.
I hear what you're saying, but and more responsibility falls on the woman after the woman's being born.
I'm a real man. I'm a real man.
So if y'all taking on more responsibility once the child is being born, y'all should make the more responsible decision.
But why do men have the option to leave if you're not in love with a woman and you impregnate a woman you're not committed to?
I guess
a lot of men believe they have the option to not be there. Because if somebody gets me pregnant, whether we are casually dating, we're friends with benefits, we're in a relationship, if I get pregnant, brother, we just got pregnant. That's crazy. We are having a baby. We got
a lot of women don't do it actually because they want child support.
Ideally, that's how we would think about it. And men like myself, men like Eli Ju, that's how we would think about it. But the history is showing you that that's not how most men is thinking about it because there's a lot of single mothers out here.
That's the issue. That's the issue. Because most women, when they get pregnant and they have a baby, they know I just became a mom. Whether I want to be a mom or not, I became a mom because I created a baby. But why is it that when women get pregnant,
you gonna be a mom when you sat down?
Men do not say I just became a father, and it's not the norm for a guy just to say I became a father. You guys have to take responsibility.
But this where the double standard rolls in. Because if at the end of her pregnancy, that woman decides, oh, I don't want to be a mother, and then she gives up that child, nobody's calling her a deadbeat, mom.
That's a fact.
If that man decides to leave,
what's the statistics on that?
Women give
like how often does that happen?
How many people are in adoption agencies?
Abortion.
But just like if a man, let's say you did get pregnant and you told the man, and he said, you know what, I want to keep it, and you decide, well, it's my body, my choice, and you decide to terminate the pregnancy, he doesn't have a say so. Like, you get what I'm saying? The man doesn't have the say. You ultimately had that say so, and a lot of women have had these conversations with men, and men had said, you know what, I don't think this is the best idea for us. We should not go through with this. And women still said, you know what, fuck it. I don't give a fuck about your opinion. I'm gonna still have this child. Like, you know what I'm saying?
If she's okay with that narrative, though, then that's what she picked.
The man is still saying,
but she's not okay with that narrative.
But
after that, she gonna be still saying niggas ain't shit.
Child support.
All that shit. She's not okay with that. That's not being okay with that.
No.
You don't need to be in his life. All of the shaming tactics.
That's assuming that the woman believes in pro-choice.
And the day you still came in a woman. Yo, let me get to the super chat, man. Don Blackwell said the government supports baby mama culture. That's a big fact.
That's true.
And he also said the government needs child support check fees.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fact.
Listen, like I said, I want to hold men accountable as well because we are very vocal about fathers being present in the household. We are big advocates for the nuclear family. We want to bring back the nuclear family. But I think, again, like when I was growing up in school and we had sex education, there was always an emphasis to women to protect your womb and make sure you like, there was always an emphasis on the women because y'all have the wombs. There's a lot of health issues that could happen during pregnancy and all of these things. So it's like, damn, women, y'all really got to be careful who y'all give y'all womb to. And now it's just like, well, damn, I just fucked him at the party and he got it. Well, he gets my womb now. It's like, there has to be some level of more accountability on the women.
I wish that people would teach men that y'all should value who your sperm goes to. I wish that people would teach men that they're more valuable than just their penis. I wish that y'all were taught to be more selective and to hold yourselves to higher standards and to think more highly of yourselves. Mm-hmm. Because if you did,
I would say,
then you wouldn't be slinging dick to every girl that you could possibly get. You would look at some girls like, maybe I shouldn't really get with her because she's not up to my standards. Like, she's not a woman that I would want to create a future with. Like, she's not. There. Let's be honest. There are some women who are not wifey material. We all know that. It's like if you can make that assessment. And hold yourself to a higher standard, then maybe we'd have fewer baby mamas because
baby daddy material, like a husband material.
But why it gotta be a woman that is not baby mama material? I mean,
who you deem to be wifey material?
It could be I'm not ready to have a kid.
It could be.
She could be a beautiful mother, a beautiful person, beautiful wife, but I'm just not ready. I'm not financially there yet, and I'm telling her that.
Don't fall wrong.
But still do this.
I mean, but those are that's what happened when you like.
That's the risk.
You rolling the dice, my boy.
If you're not ready, wrap up.
And when you roll the dice to be a single mother, there's a lot of ramifications for that too.
And I understand everything comes with. There's a good and bad response to everything we do. You know what I mean? Like, there's a good response. If we drink too much water, it's bad for you. You eat too much of it, it's like there's a good and bad to everything. You gotta pick your bad. If your bad is you trying to figure out this is about to be the wife of your kid, the mother of your child, then y'all got to figure that out. But at the end of the day, when we both go in the room,
normalize marry before you carry. We need to needs to be something in our community.
And you know what the marriage do? I was just talking about this with my older cousins. The marriage protects the woman in the way too, because at the end of the day, if he goes, there's some way, so there's something in for the woman. You know what I mean? Versus when you just have a baby out of wedlock, it's kind of hard for the woman to kind of get a lot of the things. So I feel like the marriage really protects the woman. And yes, I mean, I would love to be married before having a kid. That's the goal. That is the goal. But it's like, if shit happens, it's like, all right, you know, you gotta, I don't know. It gets really.
Shit happens.
But
you're already making the wrong decision then.
I will say, like, as a woman, like, if a woman's listening, like, that's one thing I've learned. The marriage will protect you while you have that baby, because
marriage will protect you with everything when it comes to a woman. So
yeah, I mean, yes, but really, when you have a baby and you're in a marriage, there's a lot of assets that you, as a woman, you hold power to. Because he can go, but sweetie, there's other avenues that you can get.
And honestly, I can't have a baby for somebody who doesn't want to commit to me first.
Exactly.
Women,
but you don't want to make a life.
This is why we got big mama culture. Like,
yeah, people do it all the time. But like for me personally, I'm saying like kids are lifelong commitments. But I don't want to have a child with someone who doesn't want to have a lifelong commitment to me. So if I can't even get you to commit yourself to me, why would I create a lifelong commitment with someone like that?
As you should. All right, let me get to the super chat. Charles Ma said a lot of baby mamas have babies for dudes they do not like. They are not willing to go back to the kid's father. They're not willing to go back to the kid's father for the kids.
That's true too.
It's just I think the child support goes a lot into it though, because a lot of the abortions and stuff nowadays, or not abortion, but a lot of the reasons why women keep children nowadays, most of the time, because it's actually statistically proven that women that usually have a abortion actually have more than one abortion. So obviously it's not just like we have to take accountability for the amount of people we sleep with too, because it's a lot higher of a chance.
I'm on my third dude that I let nothing inside me. Like I'm like, it's like what? Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I think like with Sapphire, hold on real quick, Keem, and with going off what Sapphire said about, you know, there is an incentive for baby mama culture with child support, obviously. And I really would like to know, in countries that do not have child support and do not incentivize single mothers, is there more of a single mother? Is there less single mothers because they know that the government is not coming to save them? You know, and I think that does play a factor. Like, okay, I know the father doesn't want to commit to being a father, but you know what? I got the government to back me up. I could do this on my own. Like, if there was less of an incentive, I wonder if women would really take that in consideration before having a child. And like I said, I don't have the data, but I would really like to know that.
Also think in a lot of other countries, marriage looks different and the purpose of marriage is different. So the thing is, in a lot of other countries, if you get a woman pregnant, you marry her. That's just what it is. So when it comes to that, it's kind of like we can compare like the US to other places when it comes to that, but the US concepts of marriage and love is romanticized, where in most countries, marriage is a agreement. And it's not because I love you so much. It's you can provide me this, I can provide you that. Love will come later. Where in the US, it's all about love. So when you're thinking about commitment under the status of love, like it's going to be a lot harder to find in the US than you'll find somewhere else. So I don't think it really has as much to do with people are, looking for child support in other countries. I just think single motherhood is a lot lower because you marry when you get her pregnant in other countries. It used to be like that in the US, and then something changed.
Very true.
Jamal Neezy says single mother-led households is dangerous. They raise weak men and or attack dogs.
Yeah.
Cam from TR Radio said, Drew, the point is that the argument is that men are responsible for single mothers, and that is false. Women choose at every single point. Men cannot trap women by definition. Women have the ultimate choice and responsibility.
Okay. And look, I hear you. And look, I'm going to be vulnerable right now, right? And this is why I believe what I believe, right? I'm going to tell y'all a true story about my life. I was probably like 15 or 16, right? And at this time, I was with this girl. And we was talking, we was smashing or whatever the case may be, right? And she always said, like, we was having sex unprotected and we was talking about it freely. And then she was like, yo, if I ever got pregnant, I'm going straight to get rid of it. So, me as a man, I'm thinking we on the same page. I'm very comfortable. I'm very vulnerable. I'm doing it more without protection, because I know if anything came down to it, we going to chop it out. You get what I'm saying? We both agreed. We both on the same page, right? And then one time she had this scare where she was like, yo, I think I'm pregnant, right? And then I'm like, oh shit, well, we good. We'll go to the shop. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. We ain't got nothing to worry about. We kids. Us being kids, we can't have kids. That's already both our mindset. Yeah. But it's switched. Her mind has changed. And there's no change in her mind at this point. So I'm like, what? But you said this. But you said that. Oh, what you said? Oh, we keep. I thought we was keeping it real with each other. And then when her mind was switched, I couldn't switch it anymore. And I said, damn, if I didn't listen to what she said, no matter what she said, I could control the narrative if I just put a condom on.
There would have been no narrative to control.
Well, yeah. Well, I could have controlled the situation if I put a condom on.
So you traumatized is what you're saying?
Hell yeah. Every man on earth should be traumatized because you don't have a choice. And the only way you can stop her from having a choice is by you protecting yourself. Now, I'm not saying that women should be equally, but a woman may not care about what the fuck you think or your decision. And you don't have any say-so when it comes to that. You just got to be there. And yes, she's willing to be a single mother. Yes, she's willing to work with you. Whatever the case may be, you forfeit all your rights once a woman gets pregnant. So I feel that all men should protect themselves and don't make that option be a choice if you're not ready for that.
Okay. All right, well said. All right, Joseph said, I know a lot of Pookies and Ray Rays that's not taking care of their kids, and they know them kids are theirs. Men need to step up, take care of these kids. I will say, seeing men doing it a lot more. That is true.
No, men do need to step up and take care of their kids. I do want to say there's a lot of Pookies and Ray Rays that got a lot of baby mamas, And I don't understand how women keep sleeping with men unprotected, that they know they are not good fathers. They can see them not treating their baby mama with respect, and they still choose to actively have unprotected sex with that man and then become a baby mom. It's just mind boggling to me. I don't understand it. Maybe I could say, oh, it was love. Like she was dick. I don't get it. Like you clearly can see with your own eyes that he is not a quality father, and you still decided to let him have unprotected sex, or just have unprotected sex with that man. I don't understand that.
So I totally agree with what you're saying, but also like devil's advocate, I have 2 points. What if she's the first baby mama, so she doesn't have an example? But I was gonna just bring up this video about, yes, men do need to step up. I saw a video where this man decided that because mind you, understand his feelings were hurt and it was valid for them to be hurt. He said that his baby mama cheated on him and brought in a new man, and so now he's not going to take care of his kids. And to me, I thought, like, why would you punish your children for their mother's mistakes? Like, your children are losing out on their father for their mother's mistake. I understand, punish her, leave her, don't help her, but like, don't not be in your kids' lives because of what she decided to do. Your kids are innocent in this. So I do feel like a lot of men, a lot of Pookies and Ray Rays do need to do better about stepping up. And like, if just because you lose access to the mother does not mean you should.
The issue is the Pookies and Ray Rays didn't even have access to even get you pregnant in the first place. You should have vetted them out to begin with. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
no, it sounded like he was being a good father until he lost, like he was being pregnant, lost access to his girlfriend.
Well, he was being a good father until he lost.
He was being present until he lost access to his girlfriend, his baby mother at the time. So like once he lost access to her, then he decided, I'm not going to be in the lives.
You know, there's a lot on the flip side, though. I ain't gonna hold you, but we're not even gonna go there. We're gonna keep.
No, I said his feelings. It's valid for his feelings to be hurt, for sure. But you
gotta abandon your kids to be hurt. You gotta separate the feelings for your baby
and the kids. That's not fair.
Yeah, you definitely gotta separate the feelings. Cam said, "I feel you, Drew. I do not disagree, but what the issue is she had that power and only her. Smart men wrap it up, and I agree with that. However, who are the women choosing?"
True, because who knows? At 15, if I would have had a kid, I don't know. I'd probably been that Pookie or Ray Ray that disappeared.
Armaine says she used sex to finesse Jew. He blames himself.
I damn sure did.
He traumatized, man.
A kid is a whole thing, man. I'm telling y'all.
Listen, I just want to read off some stats real quick, just about like, absent fathers, right? So 90% of runaway children come from absent father home, a single mother home. 85% of children with behavior disorder come from single mother households. 71% of high school dropouts come from single mother households. 85% of all youth in prison come from a single mother household. 63% of youth suicide come from single parent household. You got 7 times more likely to become pregnant as a teen. 120% greater risk to become subject of child abuse. Depression rates are higher. Divorce rates are higher. I don't even know how that even makes sense. Rates of substance abuse is higher. Life expectancy is lower. Average income is lower. Like, level of health is low. Like, there's so many disadvantages of, this is why I hate when women, and there was a video, I couldn't find it, but there was a woman who kind of like was encouraging single mothers and stuff, and encouraging that lifestyle in a sense. And, we do got to hold media accountable too, because there's a lot of women who are getting on these platforms and saying, oh, well, you could do it all by yourself. And you don't, obviously you don't need a man. You don't need a father in the household. We had a woman talk about, you don't even need a man to have a child. Like, you go to the hospital, you can apparently just buy the sperm at the hospital with no man, like without men or some craziness, right? So, when we feed into this narrative of like, a single mother can raise a child, is very detrimental, especially in our community. And, one thing that we do talk about is, whenever a child is successful in life, and we always credit the mother, like, oh yeah, I was, my mother made me the person who I am, like, but when these children are going to jail, the mother doesn't take responsibility anymore. Nobody blames the mother, but the mother the single mother always wants to take the credit for the accomplishments, but never the responsibility for the failures. You know what I mean? And
that's when you hear, oh, the father.
I don't think anybody wants to take responsibility for the failures.
Yeah, but that's
when you hear, oh, the father was
to blame.
Yeah, that's when you hear because of the fathers. Like, but when you did good, you know what I mean? Then you was it wasn't because you was doing it on your own. Like the father.
I don't want to eliminate the fact that a lot of men out here are willing to be stepfathers rather than being, father to their children. I witnessed this like firsthand where, my mother's been in a relationship and my stepfather was at the time was a better role model for me than he was for his own kids. So there's a lot of that shit going on too. Men would step in and take care of somebody else's kids and not take care of their own motherfucking kids.
That's ridiculous.
So, that's crazy, but that's society too.
I think that also goes into like he has access to your mom. He doesn't have access to the other.
Yeah, but that's still fucked up.
And no, it is fucked up. Yeah, but like I think that goes into like since he might not have the same access to the mother of his children, he has access to your mother, so he's gonna be better about y'all than he is about his own kids.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Yo, Thomas Washington said baby mamas won't co-parent, only relationships. Shaking my head. Cam said when they say divorce, Eli, they mean that the people who get divorced was most likely raised in the single parent.
Okay. All right, that actually makes sense.
I don't understand how that flew over your head, but
yeah. Yeah, just
Joseph said I like that. Call it absent father household, because if men are raising these kids, the statistics speak for themselves.
That's true.
I'm just gonna say the language is definitely very one-sided. You hear single mother households, we don't say absent father household. So like the blame is, it's the language too.
That's where the narrative goes, and that's why I said the responsibility is more on y'all side, because the narrative always goes to y'all. When do you ever hear absent father household? I've never heard.
Don't.
That's what I'm saying.
So what I'm saying is TikTok is a rough place to be on because I've had men literally assume I'm a single mother or like I don't even have any kids. I've had people assume I've been raised by a single mother when my mom was definitely not that. But like so many things get pointed at single mothers. It's like, oh, it's self-inflicted single motherhood, or like it's the mother's fault that she's raising these thugs or whatever, but like we don't say absent fathers at all.
Some of the motherfuckers absent. I ain't gonna hold you.
All right, so let me get to this next topic.
Before you do though, I do have a one way I think we can stop baby mama culture though, and that's by DNA testing on the birth of a child. Because a lot of these women don't know who the baby father is, and men are
gonna stop them. They're gonna be single mothers who don't know.
Because if then they will be more selective on who the hell they're fucking with as well.
Yeah, I think numbers. I think that'd be another pressure added to work. So it would definitely be like, I'm not trying to be in the hospital not knowing who my child father is,
or rather than having a good dude who isn't the father, but she already got him as backup as the fake father to pay child support when it's really Pookie and Ray Ray. You know what I'm saying? So you would have to really.
You know what? That might make sense, because if you got the DNA test, then you can't put that man on child support because you don't have any evidence that he is the child. Like, you know what I mean? So these child support systems, you could just put anybody.
You just say he the father.
Just don't have a baby for a man that wouldn't marry you or you wouldn't marry.
It sounds like the easiest task in the world, but for some reason you still have women who say like, well, I can't have an abortion or I can't take these contraceptives.
I mean, sometimes it's a religious thing for some women.
How is that more religious than you not getting married before you not getting married? Like, I don't understand that. Like, y'all value now if it's something y'all Christian, but y'all missed the part about getting married, you know what I mean, first and then having a child. Like, I don't understand.
Word. So that'd be you breaking one rule regardless. So you might
no sin is bigger than the other, remember?
Right. So why would you not break the sin that's not gonna make you a single mom? That's all I'm saying, man. Jamal Neezy says 70 years of single mother household is why community is at the bottom. A matriarch community doesn't work. That's a fact, Joseph said we need to change the narrative, man. Hold our brothers accountable. My bro treat his stepkids real good while I'm taking care of his full. Oh, that's crazy. Wow.
That's
I'm with you, Joseph. We got to hold men accountable.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, man. Men need to definitely step up and take care of the kids. And like somebody said earlier, I do see it happening a lot. I see more fathers in their kids' lives in this generation than past generations, for sure.
That's a fact.
That's a fact. I see a lot way more active fathers, whether they get the credit, but I definitely see it on my end, and I try to make we all try to make it an initiative, to highlight the fathers, because it's easy to just get caught up in the men ain't shit, black men are deadbeats narrative, and I know plenty of active fathers. I know fathers that's trying to be active, fighting for the I know a lot of that. You know what I mean? So let me get to this next topic. Cause we already talking about marriage. What are reasons people should get married today? So we always hear marriage doesn't benefit. Well, on the guy's side, marriage doesn't benefit a man, and women saying I don't want to be a slave. Marriage is basically a slave to a man. So what are some reasons you think people should get married today? Obviously the kid, you know what I mean? When you want to have a kid.
I was going to say, for me personally, it's a family. Like, I refuse to give a man a child if he's not my husband. So
I love
one of
that
the only reasons why I would get married is to live in the same household, to have a family. I mean, really, that sounds pretty simple, but outside of that, for me, if I'm dating you, we have kids, we live together, we have the joint bank account, we have all this, what is the point of marriage? Like, if we're going to be doing the same thing on Sunday that we were doing on Saturday, what's the point of going through everything except for a more expensive breakup when it's time to break up? So if we decide to cross that line and go into marriage on Thursday before our wedding, if we wanted to break up, we just separate. But now we got married on Friday, Saturday, we got to go through a whole divorce court and legal system because we want to break up when we're literally doing the same thing that we were doing 48 hours ago. So, but that's also how people think about relationships, because nowadays people treat relationships like marriage. So it makes it no reason. They really don't have many reasons to get married.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. What about anybody else?
I think like nowadays, we have women who work and who can make their own money and who are, financially independent people. Like, I think now at this point, it's more so, you really need to marry for love, companionship, partnership. Because I think that's what keeps marriage together. It's like, yeah, you can get married to have kids, but if that's the only thing that's holding you guys together, is that marriage going to be happy? Because a lot of people stay married for the kids, but that doesn't mean that the partnership is strong. It doesn't mean that the marriage, that the two individuals are happy with each other. So at this point, it's like, okay, if we're both, individually independent and we're coming together, I think for me, it's more so, am I creating a partnership, a life partnership with somebody who I really enjoy being around? Because I don't plan on, getting in a relationship and pledging 50, 60 years of my life to someone who I don't fully enjoy.
Do you believe that people marriages should stay together for the sake of the children, or
no? So I'll be very personal right now and candid. My parents were married for 20 years and separated when I was 16, 17. But at 5 years old, I could tell there was something off. And they stayed together until I was 16. So my mother wasn't a single mom by any means. My dad was honestly sometimes the primary parent and was very active in my life. But seeing two parents not be happy only shows you what a marriage should not look like.
I also think financial brings a really big one. Like, yes, married for love, but married for, like, y'all both gotta have some type of stability, because a lot of problems that, like, even like people that I speak to now about marriage, they said a lot of problems came with money. When things got rough and there was no money on both sides, things got really rough in the marriage. So making sure you guys are both financially stable to obtain that marriage as well. Because it's also like a bit, like, think of it as like a kind of like, I wouldn't say a business deal, but
there's a business deal.
It's a business. Like, you go, like, you know what I mean? You're going into business. So I feel like, yes, married for love, but also gotta also think about the stability.
I think when you love somebody, though, you want to make sure that person, like the people in your household, are stable as well. Like, you'll do anything. Sure.
Both
like
ways,
everybody's
most definitely.
Blackwell said wealth is passed down through marriage. This is why most of us blacks are broke.
I'm not gonna argue that one.
That's the best way to build generational wealth. You know what I mean?
Wealth, there's
I don't really agree with that. I don't think that's why most people are broke. Because what did we have to pass down in the first place? I think we spending our money in the wrong place. That's why we broke.
I feel like
multiple reasons.
We're also learning how to use that money. Like we're
in this generation, but I feel like generations prior, we had nothing to pass down.
No.
We just
because we didn't have nothing to pass down because we had single mothers who couldn't afford to put their resources together to pass something down. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Bro, can I speak?
Our parents didn't own anything.
How can you when you a single parent? Like, it's hard.
I grew up in a household where I could be vulnerable. Like, I had a father, but my mother was the primary parent. She was the breadwinner. My mom just built the whole house back home in Africa by herself. She now has property to give me and my brother down. Granted, and she raised me and my brother by herself. You know what I mean? So, like, granted, like, it was hard. We were seeing it, but she still was able. She realized that she was still able to pass down property. So it all depends on the woman you're dealing with, who the person is, and the mindset of how she wants
to make a smart financial decision.
Yeah.
I mean, it definitely makes it easier when you have two people who
it's more,
but also just like I think financial literacy is like people are just now being able to learn the system. Like people created a system that we were not invited to learn about. So it's like now that we're finally able to learn about that system and finally able to play the game with the people who have been playing the game for 100 years, you know, we're playing catch up, but we didn't have that at all. Like we weren't able to invest in stocks. We weren't able to figure out what trading is. So it's like now that people are doing that, they're able to create more wealth for themselves as well.
DJ Smith said your vows say for better or worse, etc. Not just happiness. Breaking my head.
Yeah, I think they need to change those vows because clearly nobody cares about those vows anymore because that's the case. Like finances wouldn't be the number one or one of the top 3 reasons for divorce if it was for better or for worse. You know what I mean? But I think obviously, you know, we're very, very big. We say this every live stream. I'm very big on, you know, marriage, the nuclear family, the black father, the black woman being in a household together, married. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, there's no benefit for marriage." I think there's still very much a lot of benefits to marriage. Obviously, the love and companionship, that's important. Even down to, like I said, to legal recognition. Like, you know what I mean? There's benefits like inheritance. There's tax benefits of being married, healthcare benefits of being married.
Men actually statistically live longer in marriage too.
You said men live longer?
Statistically, you live longer in marriage. Yeah.
Are we talking about all men, or because black men definitely don't live longer, like in marriage?
Yes, all men statistically live longer in marriage.
Okay, so that could be a
What year was that? What year was that?
Okay. I mean, you can look it up. I don't know exactly what.
It's crazy because usually when I think of widows, I normally think of women being and their husband passing away. I've never. It's rare that
No, women definitely live longer than y'all, but y'all like there's like a couple years added to your lifespans if you are married. We always outlive y'all for the most part.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So like I said, obviously building a family, I still think the nuclear family is the best way to build society. I mean, our society have historically ran off of the nuclear family. We've been going away from that for some reason.
Well, I just Googled it. The first article came up: being married increases life expectancy of white but not black.
I mean, that clearly there's more stress. Black men die from more stress-related issues than every other group of men. So when you got to work 80 hours of 120 hours a week, like I doubt that's adding to your life expectancy. But you know, obviously shared goals and values. I think of stuff like that. A lot of emotional support. I'm just thinking about this emotional support. You get that in a marriage. The financial stability is easier to pull resources together. That's what I would say. It's easier to pull resources together when you do have, you know, two incomes coming into a household, and it's easier to pass down, in my opinion, generational wealth. I think those are important. That's only if you want to have a family, though. Obviously, like, you know, if you don't want to build a family and you don't really value that, then obviously marriage is not for you. But anybody looking to build a family, a healthy family, a productive family, a nuclear family, I think there's a lot of benefits that could be made towards marriage. Like,
I just thought of something too, because I'm like, sometimes I get comments about like, oh, you can, have all these things without marrying her. I think a lot of men have to stop thinking they need to reproduce outside of marriage.
A lot of men think they have to reproduce outside of marriage.
No, I said a lot of men should stop thinking that they can just reproduce without having a marriage, without creating a nuclear family. Like I get a lot of comments like, "Oh, you don't have to marry her; you can just have kids." And
why do you think they have that mindset? Because they
can't. I don't know.
Because they can't.
He telling you why.
They're allowed to. They're allowed to. If they wasn't allowed to, they wouldn't have that mindset.
That is very true.
Yeah, so I mean,
you can have a man can have I mean,
we don't make the final decision.
Families where your grandfather got like, kids over there, and he's still the grandma. You know what I'm saying? And that shit is like normal to us, which I think that shit is wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like
a lot of people think normal is okay, and like just because something is normal doesn't mean
it's okay. 100%. I agree with you. Grandpa be having 5 baby mamas on the low.
But in Black History Month, slavery was normal, but it didn't make it. Okay.
There will be less guys out there thinking they can have kids without marrying somebody.
And the woman accepting him and let him stay there. That's the biggest flex. I can go outside, have a kid with somebody else, come back with you, and we're having the next baby because you're competing with my new baby moms.
And I also think marriage holds a different, like it adds more seriousness to the situation. Like it gives you like once marriage comes into it, it's like boyfriend, girlfriend, that's like you want to go, you can go. But once you're married, like you guys have to find a way to really love each other unconditional and really work through those problems. And if you're not willing to do so, then what's the point of getting married? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what's the like you said, better for worse? Like, what's the point for better for worse? Because better for worse could be his health. Better for worse could be your health. Better for worse could be financial. Better for worse could be anything. And if you're willing to do that, then marriage is for you. But I feel like back to the hookup culture, we don't hold that stature of like seriousness when it comes down to relationships. It's like marriage is like, all right, well, I'm already getting the benefits that I get already. What's the point of adding more seriousness under God to say I'm going to commit to you and you only?
You know what's scary though for men, because usually when we do commit and we get married, women get so comfortable and change up everything they was doing in a relationship because they won. The game is up, game over, and they just okay, I'm coasting now. You know what I'm saying? Y'all little Kim out here, like y'all just coasting away.
That wig start coming off more often.
Less cooking, less fucking, less talking, communicating. Because at this point, you stuck with me. I'm gonna hear all that nagging. Before it was, hey babe, and now it's like nigga, please, like you know what I mean? Just two different people.
You ain't going nowhere.
and there's another benefit too, is especially for women, there's a level of protection there. Like we hear Black women say all the time that they don't feel protected. There's an easy way to fix that for us, for the Black community. Is number one, have more marriages in our community, because when you need that protection, your husband is right there to protect you. We need to build more communities as well, like you know what I mean, more productive communities, because if something happened in your community, then not only is your husband going out to protect you, now you got the whole community rallying up. Like, you get what I'm saying? So now when you expect random men on the street to just help you and, potentially risk their lives or even get put in jail, or, you know what I mean? Because they're protecting somebody that's not family, you know what I mean? Like, that's when it becomes a little iffy. And I don't think most men, especially today in today's society, they would think twice before just not minding their business. Like I said, there's plenty of stories where men have helped, women in situations, and they got the shitty end of the stick. Like, you get what I'm saying? So now men are seeing that, I'm like, damn, maybe I should mind my business. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she probably just gonna forgive him anyway. And it's an unfortunate mindset to have. But if we had more productive communities, if we have more marriages, there would be a lot more protection for our women in our community. Like, you know what I mean? And
it also could be a blueprint for our children, the next generation to follow. They follow in the blueprint they see now, and that shit ain't working.
But let's also say healthy marriages, because there's marriages and there's healthy marriages, and there's people who are single in marriages. Like, code is so much when it comes down to marriages. I think.
I'm only speaking that's very true. I'm only speaking on the productive, healthy ones.
Okay, the productive. Okay, just saying. Just give another
sexless marriages that they both miserable and they hate.
They both miserable. Like for me, I mean, I never seen a good marriage, but I'm working on myself every day to get my perfect marriage. I know I'm not a perfect person. I know I do have my traits of being a little crazy, but at the end of the day, I'm still working on trying to have what makes sense for me.
And I think that's rough too. Like not having examples.
Yeah, I think examples, but also you got to think about like in my project management, and I do project management work. You gotta think about your communication style, how you communicate in different ways, like how to do things. It's like, and what makes you happy? Like, what's gonna keep your marriage alive and keeping a love alive? So, like, I aspire to be married. I hope one day I can be married. And when I am married, I pray that I could keep this marriage going so we can like each other. Because I don't want to be like my parents, where they look at each other like, like you got some beautiful kids, but y'all be looking at each other like we did something.
I was gonna say that. So,
like, out here mad at me, and you made me like.
How they looking
at
each other?
One of my favorite things to do when I see like married couples that have been together for a long time is ask them like what made y'all stay together. And if you ever talk to like old married couples that have been married for like 40 or 50 years or whatever the case may be, they always sit there and say like you're gonna go through like 5 years where you fucking hate each other. Whereas like years of I can't stand this motherfucker. Don't go. That's why they say old married couple, like don't sit next to me. I don't like the way you smell, the way you walked across the room just got on my nerves for 5 years. And then you're gonna go through another 7 years of being madly in love like y'all just met. You're gonna go through another 2 years of just being content, another 3 years of hating each other again, and then another 10 years of being in love. And it's like literally marriage goes through the ups and flows when it's long term, but we don't stay around even in relationships long enough to go back up that hill. Like once we get on our lows, we go.
And it's what's worth fighting for. Like if you know, like you're gonna fight for what makes sense for you. And I feel like it goes both ways. Like it's hard. Like I'm learning forgiveness and patience. Forgiveness is hard sometimes because sometimes I'd be like, you just like, yeah, like you just really hurt me. But it's like you gotta really think about it, and you gotta think like, you're giving me forgiveness, you're giving me patience. How can I give you forgiveness and how can you give me patience?
I think when I hear like when I think of marriage, obviously the first thing that comes to my mind is family, like right, creating a family. Do you? I think like the family comes first. You know what I mean? Because I think I understand how valuable the nuclear family is, and like you said, not everything is going to be perfect in your household, but ultimately, I'm there to serve as a leader and a provider for my family and my children growing up. You get what I'm saying? So me and my wife, we could have issues. I would prefer for our children not to see us have those issues, but my children would come first. I want to make sure they're successful. I want to make sure they have a loving father that lives with them. And I think sometimes people can become so selfish in a marriage. Like, if I'm not happy, then everybody's just miserable. I'm going to just leave and I'm going to leave the marriage and I'm going to just forget about you know what I mean? I think leaving a marriage sometimes can be more detrimental. And I do understand what y'all saying about nobody wants to see two, mother and father, like basically walking around hating each other and shit like that. But, I think it's bigger than just, you and your wife at that point. It's about your children. Like, you know what I mean?
I think if it's like, if it's a little 2-year stint or a 3-year stint of like, we're just having our down right now, like that's one thing. But like I said, I grew up literally like never feeling like my parents having a high. And so I think that taught me like what I don't want in a marriage. Like I saw, from what I could remember, never really remember my parents like being happy. The first time I ever saw them hold hands, my first thought was, oh, they've been going to therapy. Not like this is a normal thing.
With that, but do you see yourself wanting to get married?
Absolutely. I still want, like, there's been times where it's like, it was like romance seemed very far-fetched. I was like, damn, my parents have been married for 20 years and they fell apart. But at the same time, I knew their marriage wasn't my ideal. But at the same time, yeah, I absolutely still want to get married. I think it's a beautiful thing. And luckily, I've had some other examples. Like I still have 2 other examples of people who have been married for, 25, 30 plus years. So like Yana said, I will be going to them, asking them advice about, okay, so, what did you have to get through? Because I think a lot of us, we're so quick to leave. We don't ask the questions. We don't use our village. Like everybody says it takes a village to raise a child. We're not using our village, for marriage either. So I'm going to use my village and ask them like, hey, what did y'all have to get through? What did you have to forgive? Because if this is something that people can get through, like, let's try and work on that. We're so quick to leave, we can always find the next. And it's like, that's really not true. We think we have options. But 9.99 times out of 10, that person is not going to be down for you like the person who married you. They're not going to stick through it with you. So it's like, you really need to be asking those questions like, okay, what did you forgive? What did you guys get through? What was a low point? Like what's possible? Instead of just like everything should be good and we'll be fine. Or it's like, you're saying everything is bad, so we throw it away. But it's like, okay, was it that 2-year stint or was it the whole marriage?
Mm-hmm. Let me get to the super chat. He said, all the streets speaking facts. Married 15 years myself, and there are downs. That is why love is not the foundation you build a long-term relationship. I guess you mean. It is about family, duty, and responsibility, but that's it for me, y'all. Then ain't much love. Shout out to you, Cam, from
appreciate you, Cam, man.
Appreciate you.
Mm-hmm. That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
All right, so I do want to get to this next topic. We got a couple of more before we get up out. I know it's getting kind of late, but these topics is flowing. I ain't gonna hold you. Do you think the keyword is most? Do you think most women want a high value man or a high quality man?
I think they more want a high value man.
Okay, I was gonna start with you, like, you know what I'm saying. Why do you think that?
I think that because you see statistically, people are always going to make sure that they're straight financially first, and so the worldly term of high value, I guess, for men is status and success. And so with that being said, like, they'll definitely go for more high value than high quality, because a lot of the girls don't want that nerd or that guy who's gonna treat them right, but if he's not the top 20% and he's like average looking and stuff, women tend to technically look past him a lot. So he doesn't get as many options as women.
So I agree with her statistically on wanting high value versus high quality, because like, let's look at averages. The average person just isn't making that much money. So it's like, if you're financially secure, you're going to go for a high value man. But I think for a lot of women who are able to support themselves, you really do want high quality. Does money play into that? It's a factor, absolutely. But it's like, as someone who can take care of myself, I want somebody who can treat me well. I want somebody who is going to be a good father, a good husband. So that comes into quality. Like, do you treat your family and others well? Like, I want to know how you treat people. So that, to me, it's like, I think women who are able to support themselves want value, and like monetarily, yes, but I think we're more likely to be okay with him not having as much money if he's high quality.
Well, I actually kind of disagree.
I'm saying women who can support themselves. Mind you, we are smaller.
It's usually the women who support themselves. It's usually those who want to label themselves as, I'm independent, I don't need no guy, da 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 da. And those are always the women who want a man like in all to make more than her.
So here's another reason why, like, so personally, I'm someone who supports herself and makes okay money.
You're an adult. You're an adult.
I'm an adult, and
okay. I don't know why we keep bragging about that. We all adults here, like, you know what I'm saying?
Right. I'm an adult. Okay. I'm financially independent. Okay. Damn, what was I saying? But like, okay, so we're saying like as a person. So yes, here we go. So for me, I would, as patterns have shown, I would like someone who does make my equal or more, because I have found that men will back away from me because I can provide a little more than they can provide to me. Or it's like, okay, I'm being honest. Like, I have had men make comments to me about like, oh, we're just trying to get to where you're at. or if I don't if you already have this, like what else am I supposed to bring to you? And it's like companionship.
Well, are
the quality part.
But you just said that you would take somebody that doesn't make as much as more.
I would take someone, yes.
But now you're saying,
but a lot of times it hurts their ego for me to be doing better than them. So it's harder to be with a man whose ego is hurt by that. Mm-hmm. So it's easier to go for a man who does make more money than me, because his ego is not going to be hurt by what I can provide for myself. Even a lot of times it's the ego that I can't deal with. Yeah, it's from a man who makes less.
I don't think a man probably have a problem with you making more than him. I think that the difference is how he's being treated. Usually women that make more than that man treats that man differently than you would treat a man.
Not all the time. I'm not gonna say not all the time, because I'm in my experience.
Some of that time hurts.
There absolutely are women who do that, but I'm saying in my experience, as somebody who prides herself on how I treat people, I've seen men back away from me because of that.
You know what's crazy? Y'all don't even realize what y'all be doing it. You get what I'm saying? Like how Eli was like, you don't have to mention how much of an adult you are. You get what I'm saying? Like, it be subtle. What you may think is subtle might be like, yo, you fucking tripping. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, men, we listen to you. We might be annoyed with y'all sometimes, but we be listening. You get what I'm saying? Y'all tone, y'all delivery, that shit adds up.
It's actually gotten to the point where I actually try and hide things. Like, I will try to not bring certain things on a first date so I don't get judged for what I have. Like, I'll make sure you don't pick me up from my place, so you don't, like, it's gotten to a point where I'm actually trying to hide things because I want to be able to have a man not feel like, maybe I don't need to be doing anything with her because I can't bring anything to her. Like, it's gotten to that point for me. So I'm like, there are women out there who will be okay with men who don't make as much, but it's like, I literally have to take the extra mental effort to not bring certain things to dates, or not, make sure you can't pick me up because I know.
But he's also talking, like, generally speaking, though. Like, you're probably, one of the women that do treat a man good, as he wants to be treated. But a lot of women nowadays, they're not like that. Yeah.
Where you from again?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I live in Austin, Texas.
Austin, Texas.
Came over there taking notes, so you know what I'm saying? Like, I think just to add to the conversation, I believe, obviously I'm not a woman, but I think more women, because we have a show, we talk to women all the time, like, and we always hear them express, financially what a man needs to bring to the table. And then everything else is secondary. Like, oh yeah, he got to have his other stuff. But for the first thing, before they even qualify him for the secondary stuff, is the financial. So when you think of, usually when I think of high value, I think of somebody who has, like Sapphire said, the status, the wealth, and the power. But when I think of high quality men, I really had to think about it. I did think about somebody who has, integrity, who has character,
skills.
Yeah, like, I think of those people, and I don't think every man, just because a man has the status and power and the money, that doesn't mean he's going to treat you right. You know what I mean? It's not one and the same.
Right.
Yeah, so you know what I mean? So it's kind of like when we ask women to pick their poison, they're going, and just in general, they're going to most likely pick the high value men because of the perceived lifestyle that they think that will come from it. You know what I mean? Oh, well, he has the money. He could take me shopping. He could take me on all these trips. He could do this, that, and the third. But sometimes those high value men come with, obviously, more cheating or whatever the case is. They might not treat
abuse or whatever it is.
They might not treat you the best because they know that they are in high demand. That's also high value. Somebody who's in high demand, like, so they know all of the girls is pretty much, they have expressed that they want the 10 to 15% of all men. You know what I mean? So I think personally more women will go after the high value men than the high quality men. That's not even a term. Like, that's the first time me even hearing that, high quality man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't never even heard that shit before. Like, you know what I mean? But we always hear high value man. Like, you know what I mean?
See, I will be very, very honest. So for some reason, I have attracted the high value man, which is weird because I'm like a beach bum and I like to ride bikes and go to the park. Like, I'm not into that kind of stuff, but like materialistic things. But I've attracted those guys, and I think a lot of women don't understand what comes along with that. So usually with the high value man that has a lot of status and things like that, like, everything that they have in their life has to be an asset to their status. So the type of car that they drive, the area that they live in, the people that they surround themselves with, and you being one of the people they're surrounding themselves with, you have to be an asset to his status. And unless a woman is ready to give up her personality, because there's certain men where your personality doesn't match his status, so that's not going to work. The way you dress may not match his status, that's not going to work. How much you make, he doesn't have access to your money, he's not going to be spending your money, so that's not going to work. And if women are not willing to literally just be an asset to where he is, then you may not want to go for that high value man, because to be that type of guy, you got to have a certain personality, and it's a special kind of woman that could be successful in that kind of relationship. I'm not one of them. I want a very normal, average Joe, like very, very regular guy. Give me like a medium value guy. like I'm really cool with the medium value, because high value comes with a lot of things that I'm just not willing to sacrifice and give up about myself.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever think about how successful a relationship would be if, you know, like how you mentioned, like women would change for that high value guy, but if they put that same energy into a, you know, just a good quality man, if they put that much, you know, into change and make it work, how much successful relationship would be? Do you think it would be a change in the numbers?
I think
If he's willing to change, that's the thing. You got to be willing to do it. If he's willing to do it, then I think it's gonna be solid.
Right. And also you have to look at like the characteristics of the man too. It's like he could be, you know, a $50,000 earner, but if he has drive and he's in a career field that has trajectory, like upward trajectory, if he has the drive, he'll probably ascend. You know, so it's fine to start with the average Joe. But if, you know, he's making 100,000, but it has no drive, and
if he's making 60,000, if he's making 60,000, you're making 50,000. You know, you guys combined are. You guys can do something. You get what I'm saying? Like, I think people so invested into how much a person is making to make their life easier, rather than building with somebody to make their life happy. You get what I'm saying? So I mean, you gotta kind of, you know, compromise a little bit to see what you want.
I say a lot of women like to sacrifice love for lifestyle when it should be the opposite. A lot of women want to see all this materialistic things, and they want to, you know, get their designer bags, and they want to do this and that because society has told us that that's what love is. They want to create the movie version of love, when in reality it's like.
So how can we say women have so much standards and all this other stuff if they could be bought? You get what I'm saying? Like, y'all always criticize men. Oh, y'all think about his pussy, but all y'all think about his money. You know, a man can reply with the same shit. You know what I'm saying?
Well, also because a lot of the things that we think men want, they do want, but not in the way that we want them to want it. So, like, we want to put on makeup and dress nice, and which will create attention, you know, because we know men like beautiful things. But at the same time, when it comes to when it comes to knowing that when it becomes too much and too accessible to everybody, men now undervalue us.
Facts.
So a lot of us want to say body empowerment. We could do what we want. We could show what we want. We could sleep with who we want. But we're not thinking that the loyal man, or the man who's going to actually treat us well, is not going to be okay with a lot of the things that a lot of modern women do now.
Yeah, the average model.
Because he wants the new photos to be sent to his phone, not to be posted online.
Right.
That is true. I was in a relationship where she took a photo, very provocative, looking amazing. And then I happened to go on social media and see that same posted for the world. I'm like, for me, like, what the fuck? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, now everybody unseen that. Now everybody giving you the heart face eyes.
She was trying to get your opinion so she could show
the opinion. Okay, we like this.
Yeah, when you're in a relationship, some things have to stay sacred, and you know, you got to be able to make your person feel special. It's like, if what you send in them is what you send in everything. It's like, it's no longer special.
Yeah, because we got to get content again with just getting compliments from one man. I think as women, we got so used to getting compliments from hundreds and thousands of whoever people that like just one sometimes makes people feel inadequate, where it's like, okay, I need to get more. So people post online so they can get more. But once we get used to like, you know, just being happy.
That validation, and once that dopamine just hits, like, it's a different level. Like, you know what I mean? You always want that constant validation. Like,
I always mention that Aisha Curry situation.
Like Aisha.
That he got a man that love her. He be praising her. He be kissing her feet, rubbing her hand, and she's still worrying about who else ain't flirting with her or telling her she be with. I'm like, this man is one of the richest men.
One of the highest value men, man.
And according to Jew, he a baddie. Like,
I mean, high value man.
Yo, let me get this super chat, man. Yo, shout out to Iceberg Slim. He said, salute fellas.
What's goody, bro?
What's good, Slim?
We got one more from Gus. He said, it doesn't hurt our ego. You end up masculine as fuck. Men are not attracted to your money, career, or status. Wanted to be a wife, mom, feminine, compliant, fit, friendly is what keeps us around. We're not the same.
Thank you.
Yo, shout out to Gus, man. Listen, let me get to this last topic.
Yeah, I got one more.
You gonna get you got one more. Right.
Yeah, Gus says when they hit the wall, they found the average.
I go through something to realize what you need now. You gotta see. You gotta test it out. You don't know what's on the other side until you go. So
why those dudes gotta wait till after your prom is done? You out here looking like Sally Mae now. Like you ain't the baddie once was. Now we gotta take you. I don't think that's fair.
And it's in the reverse, because as men get older, they tend to hit their prime as far as financially, statistically, normally. As men get older, that's when they make the most money in their lives. So in theory, they would have the most options in life. So now when you had when you was in your prime, you obviously explored your options and tried to get who you get. Now when men get in their prime, now they got to settle for baby mamas and women that's out of shape and women that got all this.
Y'all should have got married earlier.
But don't they?
I was about to say, because I feel a little.
They want. I said,
that's the thing.
Marry who they can and not who they
women don't want to get married early. They want to have their hot girl summer and city girl time.
No, I'm saying like for the men, he's saying they make money. You know, they're usually making their peak money at like 40, like 45. Yeah. So it's like, okay, you waited to get married till you're 40, 45.
Because that's
your dating pool is usually within stable, like 5 years of what your age is. Like the average marriage gap is 2.5 years. So it's like to expect that, you know, you're gonna get somebody super young is kind of wild. And like I'm 25. I don't really go for 40-year-old men. I know, like, if you're 25, you're going for a 40-year-old man for the money, not for marriage. So it's like if you're 40, 45, like, and you're not married yet.
And you're chasing young.
You're only chasing the bag. Like you should have been chasing the bag and the woman.
Men hit the financial peak at 45.
I'm sorry.
It's something like that, yeah.
He's saying like, oh, we peak financially older, and it's like, oh, now we're left with baby mamas. Now we're left with all the older leftovers. But I'm like, you're 45 too. Like the average marriage gap is 2.5 years.
A 40-year-old man ain't looking for a 40-year-old woman. Nah.
I'm sorry, but
30-year-old woman that's still, you know, presenting herself, you know, very well.
I'm saying like the average man got way more. 2.5 years, so we got to be a little really.
A 40-year-old productive man is way more.
You looked up that survey. She said the marriage gap is 2 years. So I'm like, I don't know if that's recent.
Yeah, I don't know how true that is, because a lot of marriages I know there is a significant age gap.
I had to look that up like 2 days ago. So.
You know I gotta do my own research.
Go ahead, look it up. I looked it up 2 days ago.
Yeah, so I think, like I said, a man that's more financially stable in his later age is way more attractive, and he has way more options available to him than a woman that's of the same age. Like, you know what I mean? A lot of men ain't really checking for older women unless they looking for women, sugar mamas or cougars. That's blatantly that has no problem tricking on men at that age. Now they have no problem tricking on men, but when they was younger, they could never trick on a man. But now y'all got money, y'all willing to do that. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I think it's a little different. Like, you know what I mean? But
it's definitely that the dynamics are different. But when we're talking about like for actual marriage, like a lot of people are not marrying somebody who's 15 years younger than them or 15 years older than them.
You'd be surprised.
No, there's a lot of people who do it, but I'm saying on average, it's not the average occurrence.
Yeah, I want to say it's the majority.
I feel like depending,
we see a lot of it on social media.
Where you're at, I feel like culturally where you're at, American culture, I don't think so. I feel like different. Like
American culture, we're not. It's just for money mostly.
You know.
I don't know. Young Miami look like she in love. I don't know.
I mean, that's Diddy.
You proving my point. You proving my point. Diddy, who's a productive Black man in society, who has all of the options of women.
All of the
options of women at the palm of his hands. But
billionaire.
even a man that's making $100K, $200K a year, he's still of that small percentage of men in society who have the bulk of options available to him. Like, you know what I mean? So
you can get a young Miami looking chick that's walking around here.
So let me get to this last topic before we get up out of here. What is the difference between having standards versus having preferences?
A lot.
Having standards is boundaries. No, wait, I'm trying to think. Okay, let me speak for myself. I feel like having standards is having boundaries. Boundaries as in like certain things, like you could prefer certain things, but like if you really like this person, like can you meet them where they're at? And then I feel like having standards is these are your personal boundaries and you're not going to cross them. Like these are my boundaries, I'm not crossing them. Preferences, yeah, you can prefer a tall man, but if he's short and he treats you right, what you gonna do? You know what I mean? You gonna leave him because he's short? Be for real.
Yes.
I'm just saying, like, you know, like standards are like your non-negotiables. Like these are my boundaries. I'm sticking to it. I mean it. I don't want no man with no kid, and I don't want no man with a kid. That, well, you know, that is back to
that's almost a preference now.
But like a boundary could be like, you know, like I'm not talking to you after 10 p.m.
What?
But
no,
that's fine after you really like them.
No, I'm just saying, like in the talking stages, like I would say, like if you guys are just talking, getting to know each other, y'all are dating other people, like are you inviting him over after 10 p.m.? Like, do you have like a certain boundary in your dating stage? Like, are you giving yourself like, okay, well, now I feel comfortable for him to come over after a certain time? Like, there's certain boundaries that are going to protect you to see if this is the person for you. So but it depends on what you value, what's your preference, and what's your like. Because some things that I can go back and forth could be a preference to someone, could be my boundary. So it's different. But I feel like my standard is my boundary. And one of my boundaries is like keeping your word. Like no matter what, I feel like if you can keep your word, okay, cool, you're a trustworthy person. Now let's also see some other things. But it all depends on what you as a person prefer. But I would say standard in the word of like standard preference. Standard is my boundary. Preference is our non-negotiable, like what we can fix. Like, okay, you don't clean up, let's teach you how to clean up. Like, you know what I mean? Or
your purpose
you don't know how to cook. Okay, maybe I can teach you how to cook. Like, what can you do to help another person grow? And if you're willing to.
I agree.
So for me, I'm like, for an example, like a standard for me is I need somebody who's like gentle and kind with me. Like I need your delivery for certain things to be gentle and kind. Like if you start yelling at me, I start clamming up and now I can't communicate properly. So it's like a standard for me.
Patience.
Yeah, I need my man to have patience. Absolutely. So it's like, if you're not a patient person, I can't do that because like that's going to make me not be an effective communicator. But, you know, a preference, like I prefer my man to be, you know, 6, like like I said, I'm little. I would prefer you to be a bigger man so I can feel protected. But if you're 5'10", I'll be all right. If you're 5'9", I'll be okay. If everything else is like, if my standards are checked off, my preference of you being tall can lower.
What's your height?
I'm 5'4" on like standing super straight.
I love how y'all be doing that.
And your purpose is 6 feet and up, right? That's what you said.
That's all women's preferences. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yo, fuck out there, came over there smiling, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. Yo, why happened to be 6 feet? Why happened to be 6 feet with Tim's?
I'm sorry?
Why happened to be 6 feet with Tim's?
With Tim's?
Mm-hmm.
That's 5'9"-ish.
I mean, I actually dated somebody my height before because he checked every other box.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. It's a preference for you to be tall because, like, I feel like automatically I feel more protected if you're a bigger man.
In your head, was you like, damn, I can't wait till I meet a nigga that's 6 feet so I can leave this nigga? Like,
no. When I tell you, like, when I'm telling you, he checked every box. He checked every box. So like, I had tunnel vision on that man.
So why y'all broke up?
Because I wasn't ready to be. I wasn't in the headspace to be a wife. I was 18.
He was trying to get married at 18.
He told me he wanted to marry me at 18. Yes.
God damn.
But would you agree that you said you dated a guy who wasn't your height preference, but he checked off every box?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think
at that time, yes?
Do you think most women will leave the guy that checks off most boxes for the one guy that's 6 feet? Like, you know what I'm saying? But he don't check off as many boxes.
If they do, that's foolish. But I mean, maybe, I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, because I think they get stuck in that. Oh, I can make him get all these other great qualities. I can help him. I could get him there.
Yeah, I've let go of that part. I think a lot of women are taught like, men will change for the right one. So it's like, oh, let me be the right one. Let me try and fix him. Let me try and help him. And let me tell you, let me be the first one to say that shit does not work. Okay, get with a man who's good on general principle, and then work from there.
Okay.
Thanks.
Artistry. What about you? I don't know. Did you answer this one or?
We get the artistry.
I don't know. Preference versus standards, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I just think it's just my wants versus my needs. My standards are my needs, and my preference is just what I want. I don't necessarily have to have it. Like, I don't prefer a person with kids. I don't prefer someone that is shorter than me. Like, but if you're shorter than me, then you're I'm 5'2". So if you 5'1". That's
hard to be taller than
the
you,
standard is at least, come on, give me 5'7", 5'8". I don't know, like, I guess. But yeah, that's all it is. Really, is just what I want versus what I need.
You know what I hear when I hear women say that? I think of, and I don't want to be offensive to any community, but when I think of the Mexican community, a lot of the men seem to not be obviously gifted with the height genetics, you know what I mean? But their women don't seem to really have that preference in their men. Like you know what I mean?
Shorter too.
Huh?
I said they're shorter too.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. They're not going around like, damn, he got to be 6.
Yeah, how we know that though?
There's actually a lot of tall.
Yeah, right.
Oh my God, bro. For real.
But in the black community, they be the same height, but one is 6 foot. Man, that's what he's saying.
I mean, I think it's just like a known, like you said, it's known that they're just known to be shorter. Like, we know we got some tall ones out there. We know we got options in the 6 foot and above category.
But it's like
they don't
right,
have
it's
to
not
in the 6 foot and above category, so they know they're going for a 5'7". Like, they know a strong 5'7" is a strong 5'7". We know we got a lot of options on that 6+.
I don't know.
The average height for a black man. Average height for a black man is 5'9".
I have so many 6'+ men in my family. I'm 5'4", but I still have a lot of 6'+ men in my family.
Yeah, but I think the percentage.
See, and that's the thing. In my family, it's a lot of short guys.
Damn.
Yeah.
Somebody look up the percentages.
My family's really tall, but I ended up. I'm 5'5", but my family's really tall. But
I have men who are 6 to 6'3" in my family, so it's like I know, like the options are there.
The average height for a black man is 5'9".
And only for it says
and
only 14,
that's average. So there's some like
that section. But listen to this. It says only 14.5% of the U.S. population of men is over 6 feet tall. Like, you get what I'm saying? So that's already at that's all ethnicities. Like, you get what I'm saying? So that's a 14% chance. Now y'all want him to make 100K. So now that's like
what percentage of those is black men?
So actually, isn't there a stat that says like taller men are usually like CEOs, like all the presidents is like 6 feet and above. Like, successful men are usually actually kind of tall.
All the presidents are white, except Barack. Like, what you?
But I'm saying all of them are like there's like a 6 foot thing with like presidents and like CEOs.
I don't know, man, because Elon not that tall, right? Like, Kanye not that tall, right? You know what I'm saying? Like,
not all of them, but I'm saying like
why you think the narrative as there's a lot of short men that's
how tall is Jay-Z?
Jay-Z like 6
foot. Like, yeah, Jay-Z like 6 foot. How tall is Kanye?
How tall is Lil Wayne?
And he got
how tall is J. Cole?
But Beyonce like 5'8" though. You 5'5".
You 5'4". We talking about men right now.
Listen, just to get back to this topic real quick, I think y'all nailed it. As far as the preferences, I agree. It's just non-negotiable. And then standards are non-negotiable. I'm sorry, and then preferences is like there's some wiggle. I'm more flexible with preferences, like you know what I mean. But who do you think is more criticized for having standards when it comes to dating, men or women?
Men.
Sapphire was ready. She was like Family Feud. She hit that buzzer mad quick.
Yeah, other three ladies bet not lie. Yeah, bet not lie.
I definitely say men. It's not really hard though to know that, because a lot of girls won't be judged for not liking a man off of his appearance. It's always, oh, you ugly, da 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 da. But as soon as a man has a preference of it's shaming, it's bullying, is this and that, and it's like the double standard is so high.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but women get shamed all the time for being fat, or like men get shamed for liking fat women.
A lot of women are using that as an excuse though to start like disregarding that men like to see beautiful things. I'm not saying that we have to always cater to them, but if we want a certain type of man, then we have to be that woman that he wants as well, which usually is, not always not excessively like not taking care of your body.
It depends for me personally. I feel like like it depends on what the man is saying. Like, I'm not telling a man not to have standards. I want him to have self-respect. He should have standards. But there's blatant when it becomes disrespectful. And disrespectful as in like sometimes a man's standards could be disrespecting a black woman. Like that's how I'm talking.
You can't be too dark, or your hair can't be too long.
But women do that too.
Women do that all the time. Women, I don't want a white boy. I don't want this and that. So that's
light skinned niggas is soft.
Yeah.
I think
women do that more than men.
Actually, get judged just as much.
I want light skinned babies. I need a light skinned man. Like,
I would say I think women get shamed. You said women get shamed, but I think we both get judged as much.
Yeah.
Lee, you said women get shamed for being fat.
Yeah, all the time.
Who shamed them?
Don't do that.
I see Lizzo online and all comments is you're beautiful.
Nah, you know what people say about Lizzo? Women get, this is the thing, right? Women get shamed so much about being like bigger or overweight that Lizzo is a beacon of hope because she's a woman that's overweight and presents that she's empowered about her weight. She's the one woman that feels empowered about her size. And there's no reason why just a woman being empowered about her body is a phenomenon, but it's a phenomenon because it doesn't happen often, especially in the limelight. Like, that's how much women are shamed for their body. That Lizzo was famous for not being shamed for her body.
All women lead the league as far as women in different ethnic groups of being obese. And now we are celebrating obesity now within our women and saying it's okay to be overweight. There's nothing wrong with that. And then when men say, you know what, I don't want a woman that's overweight. Now, anytime any type of phobic word has been identified because a man has a preference. So whether it's I want a skinny woman, oh, you're fat phobic. Hey, I want this. Oh, yeah. Any phobic that you could think of is because a man had a preference and y'all tried to shame him for having that preference. So y'all made some type of phobia to make us feel bad about having that preference. Like,
I think we live in a society where we always have to be very picky about words. So yes,
women can say whatever the hell they want.
No,
ain't no hydrophobic. No such thing as hydrophobic, and y'all do that all the time.
Well, what's the word for women when they shame gay men?
Can I finish for a second though?
Go ahead.
Okay, because I'm not even saying we got to be picky with our words just with this. I'm like, we're in a society where it's like if you say anything that's transphobic, like homophobic, you get
there's a lot of things.
There's a lot of things you can get picked on for. So I'm just saying, like, you can want a skinny woman, but it's like maybe if you change, I want actually no, never mind. Yeah, y'all gonna get picked on no matter what. Never mind. Because we all know. Because I was gonna say, like, you can say I want somebody who takes care of themselves. That's very vague. That's very vague. That could mean anything.
I think that's something we could change, though.
Hold on.
A lot of the things that we judge a man for is on things that they can't change, and men judge a lot of women on things that they are able to change, like their character, their morals, and
for example,
your weight.
Your weight, your attitude, Like,
what
you
you
know
wear,
what I mean?
how you present yourself.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff that we call body empowerment because we want the attention from other men, but in reality, you know, what they want is stuff that we are able to give them. We just don't want to because we want to do us, focus on ourselves.
Heavy on the do us.
Well said.
Yeah.
Well said.
Ain't no height phobic, even though that's clearly a thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Michael E said, I think the age gap only exists. This was a minute ago. Only exists in the black community in America. In my country, the parent will not allow you to marry their daughter if you're not at least 2 years older than her. That's crazy.
Which country is that, yo?
Where you from, Michael? Where are you from?
Certain countries do that.
That's it, King?
Oh yeah, that's left.
All right, so I do want to get up out of here. But King, you got them? You had all live stream. You got them trivia questions. What's up?
Yes, I got these questions. Hold on.
Oh, okay. I actually was expecting him not to have it. Like,
I got 3 black inventors here. I mean, I'm gonna.
He said he's from Nigeria.
I'm gonna say the 3 black inventors, and if you know what he or she invented, I can say it. Yeah. Number 1 is George Washington Carver.
Things with peanuts.
Peanut butter.
Peanut butter.
Jew, no, we don't believe you, Jew. No. After she said it, like, it was,
I got the book upstairs. I was just reading that with my kids, bro.
Number 2, Madam C.J. Walker.
Hot comb. Hair grease.
Oh, it was grease.
Hair grease.
Yeah, hair grease or hot combs. Yeah.
Okay.
These are easy, bro. These are too easy, bro.
I want to make them too hard.
These are basic Black History facts that he just have on fucking.
Who you gonna say next? Who fought this? Have the seat on the bus?
Right.
He was about to say that. That was the next question. That was the next question.
Come on, man. Come on. Garrett Morgan.
I have no idea who that is.
Was it heart surgery?
Nah, that's not.
Oh, it wasn't.
He invented the stoplight, actually. The stoplight.
Oh yeah, I was just getting ready to say that too. Like, I'm sorry.
I thought that was easy.
I know he was black, but I ain't know his name.
That's not fair, but y'all got the Beyonce question.
Right,
You got
NAACP.
One Beyonce shit.
Yo,
I don't know how you got that right.
Y'all get one hard one and y'all up in arms. And I'm about to easy.
I mean, I definitely
y'all got current events to talk about history. Get out of here.
Yo, it's Black History Month, not Black current events month. You know what I mean?
Maybe Black current events. Again, man, we appreciate everybody for watching the live stream. If y'all didn't hit the like button, make sure you hit the like button on the way in, man. Like, or the way out, I should say. Cop the merch, Dailyrapupcrew.co. And we got the episode coming out tomorrow, man. Y'all gonna tune in for that episode because it's pretty. They can't see that, bro. It's disappearing and shit like that. Like, yeah. Yo, make sure y'all tune in tomorrow at 11 a.m. We got the new episode premiering. This is the first time this is the first time we had an all-white panel. Well, except for the one girl, she was Hispanic. But y'all gonna want to tune in to see what they was talking about, man, because it's kind of interesting. So we're gonna be in the chats tomorrow to go over that episode with y'all. Make sure y'all join the YouTube memberships. Y'all can see all the episodes exclusive on Saturdays, a whole 1 week early before everybody else see the episode. And the podcast, the audio for the podcast drops every Tuesday, man, 7 a.m. So make sure y'all tune in for that. Ladies, again, let them know where they can follow you at, where they can your businesses, all that good stuff. Your OnlyFans, if y'all got that. I don't know, man. We live in a different world, like, you know what I'm saying? So Yama, let me start with Yama real quick.
It's Yama.
Yama.
Yeah, it was great having y'all. It was a great conversation. Y'all can follow me at Miss Yama. Right there, YAMA and an extra A.
Yo, Yama, I know you African, right? So Yama definitely short for something.
Mariama.
Okay, all right. That's cool. All right. I'll give me some little name. That's cool.
But what does it mean, though?
It's a holy name. It's an Arabic name, but gift of God.
Oh.
Shout out to your parents.
Blessing in the skies. You don't even know it, see?
All right. Go ahead, Lee.
Yeah.
So I'm Lee, and you can follow me on TikTok at Dose DOSE of.
Dose of what?
Dose of Lee.
Oh, okay. All artistry. Oh, that's your ad right there.
Yeah, that's my ad. So Yane, you can find me at _YahnArtistry, YahnArtistry on Instagram. I was say my name is Yane, but I think it just stands for yes, no. Like I don't think it has a deep meaning. It's just Yane.
No.
Just Yane. I wish I had a better
name. You know this in your name, being indecisive.
Mm-hmm.
And last but not least, we got Sapphire.
My Instagram is Sapphire Achilles without the underscore. It's just my name, so that's on Instagram.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, make sure you check her out, man. Actually, check everybody out on the panel, man. Lovely women, lovely conversation. I appreciate y'all for pulling up for us. I appreciate y'all as beautiful Black women, and hopefully we can have this panel in the future. You know,
I just want to give y'all an extra shout out. Y'all all are beautiful and seem like y'all have feminine energy. Despite, we didn't agree on everything, but I didn't see no masculine energy. That's all I want to say, and I want to appreciate y'all.
Which is a rare feat these days because a lot of masculinity out here in these streets.
I wasn't heavy on it. Y'all was pleasant to talk to.
Where y'all from, by the way?
Well, I'm from Boston, but I reside in DC.
DC.
I'm also part of Africa, Sierra Leone.
Okay.
I'm from Los Angeles, but I currently reside in Austin, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, originally from Philly, but I live in South Florida.
And my mom's from Philly.
From South Africa, but I'm in the DMV right now, like Maryland, Virginia side.
No tri-state women.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I see what you're trying to do there. I see.
I was about to.
It's only the masculinity when you go up north, like, you know what I'm saying?
Right, like you get stronger when you go up north.
I can give you some people from Boston if you want some energy. You can bring it.
Nah, you talking about Boston? Nah, Boston got the masculinity too.
If you want, what kind of energy you talking about?
They can bring some.
We got to see the difference.
Some masculine energy?
I got a friend from Detroit if you want some masculinity too.
Yeah,
we can bring it if you want.
Let me see what they're talking about.
We don't want it. That's the whole point. I can keep that wherever y'all like.
Again, man, appreciate y'all for tuning in, and we out of here.